Okay, hi everyone. So I'm back with a new video. This video I will do for Addmaths trial paper. Okay, Matematik Tambahan. So this is the Sabah paper, and this is the paper one for trial 2023, and it's for Addmaths. All right. Okay, this will be my first Addmaths video. All the previous video I make for trial 2023, they are all mathematics. This one is the first Addmaths, additional mathematics paper I do, and I choose this paper lah, this state paper, Sabah state paper. So let's start with question one. Okay, so this is the question. Okay, I think this is for chapter one, function. Let's read the question. Diagram one shows a function of fx defined in a certain domain. So A says state the type of relation of this function. Okay, let's talk about type of relation. So type of relation, there's four types. Okay, do you remember? The first type of relation, we call it one-to-one, right? And then the second type, I'll draw it here, and then the third type, and then the fourth type. I will draw it in arrow diagram so that later I can explain using graph. Okay, so the first one is like this. One object, one image, one object, one image, one object, one image. Second one is one like this, and then you will see something like this. All right. And then the third type is you will see something like this, and then like this, right? Then like this. Okay, and then the final one is like this, like this, like this, and then like this. This one we call it one-to-one. One-to-one. This one we call it many-to-one. Many-to-one. This one we call it one-to-many, right? And then this one we call it many-to-many. Okay, let me explain a little bit. For one-to-one type of relation, one object will go to will have one image. You see, one object, one image, one object, one image, one object, one image. But for many-to-one, you can see one object have one image. This object also have one image, but they have these two different objects have the same image. So we call this many-to-one. All right. So, but it's still every object has one image. All right. But look at the third one. One object have two image. All right, so this one we call it one to many. Then what about many to many? Many to many, it means you have one to many and many to one happening at the same time. Then we call it many to many. If you look at this red color line, what is this? This is many to one, right? Can you see many to one happening here? But you also see this blue color line. This blue color line is one to many. So it means in this arrow diagram, there is many to one and one to many happening at the same time. Then we call it many to many. All right. Okay, after I tell you about these four types of relation, I will tell you the definition of function. Definition of function. All right. The definition of function is every object ataupun each object has only one image. This is the definition of function. So can you tell me, out of these four types of relation, which type of relation is considered function? The answer is only one-to-one and many-to-one is considered function, because in one-to-one, every object has only one image. In many-to-one also, because every object have one image, every object have one image, object have one image. But why this one cannot? Because one object have two image. That's why this is not considered function. All right. So one to many is not function, many to many is not function. Only one to one and many to one. Right. So that one you have to remember. Okay, but let's come back to this question. This question asks you to state the type of relation of this function. Can you see they give you in a graph form, right? So what you can do now is you can list down all these coordinates. What is this coordinate? This is 0, 3, right? And let me tell you, the x-axis, this is the object. X-axis, this is the object. And then y-axis, that's the image, right? That's the image. So if I convert this into arrow diagram, what do you think will happen? The x coordinate have 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And then the y coordinate, there's 3, 2, and 6. So there's 2, 3, 6. So if I just link this together, 0, when 0 is the object, the image is 3. When 1 is object, the image is 2. Okay, and then 2, the image is 3. And then when the object is 3, the image is 6. You can clearly see this. So you can notice this. What is this? This means it's many to one, right? So that's why the answer for A is many to one relation. So I'll just write here. So the answer for A is many to one relation. Okay, and don't forget to put the dash, right? You have to put the dash. Okay, let me explain using another method. Do you remember learning a chapter called quadratic and how the quadratic curve looks like? It would be either like this or like this, right? So, and you also learn about this type of curve, this type of quadratic curve, it's many to one. Okay, it's many to one. You know why? Because for every x coordinate, for every y coordinate, there will be two different answers. So for every y coordinate, like let's say the y coordinate is 3, right? Then there will be two x answer, right? Of course, if the y coordinate is 2, there's only one answer lah. But uh, if you tarik any y coordinate here, there will be two answer because yeah, because when you tarik satu line macam ni, there will be two x answer. Same with this case, right? But of course, if you tarik on top here, you will only get one answer, but still it will be still many to one because you will only get one to one when it's a straight line. Okay, because when it's a straight line, every y value will give you one x answer only. Doesn't matter where you tarik the line. You understand? But for quadratic curve, only if you tarik at the bottom here, you will only get x answer. For other, but when you tarik at other place, you will get two different x answer. So one y answer give you two x answer. It means one y answer give you two x answer means many to one, right? It means two object have same image. That's what it means. All right. So that's how you do it. So I will erase all this. So remember, only if it's a straight line, then only it's a one to one, right? But what if the curve is like this? What if the curve is like this? Let's just give another example. The curve look like this. Okay, like this, it will be one to many. Okay, it will be one to many. You know why? Because one x value will give you two different y value. That's why one x value, one object give you two different image. Like this, we call it one to many. Okay, and what about many to many? Many to many when it's a circle. When it's a circle, then it's many to many. All right. So I repeat one more time. If it's a straight line, then it's one to one. All right. If it's a quadratic curve like this, then it's many to one. And then if the curve is like this, it's one to many. And if it's a circle, then it's many to many. Okay. So I think I explained a lot already, but I think it's worth explaining, right? Because it's a very important concept to understand. Okay, I think I can continue with the B question. Okay, B question says state the domain and range of this function. Domains means X. Remember that. Range, if they never say range of X or range of fx, means fx. If they never mention, okay, if they got mentioned range of X, then of course it's the X range lah. But if they never mention it's fx. So how do you state the domain? It means you have to state the object. Domain means object. So what is the object from here until here? It will be 0 until 3, right? So the domain will be 0 until 3. But we will not write because we have to cover every value from 0 until 3. So what we do, we will use the in-between symbol. We will use like this. All right, this is the symbol for in-between, and then we will write X. And then the small number is 0, we write in front. The big number, we write 3. So this is X in between 0 and 3. And then now for my range, all right, and then for range, we have to write for fx, okay? And we also use the in-between symbol, but this one is for the fx, means for the y-axis, for the image. So for the image, we will look at the lowest point and the paling atas punya point. So I repeat one more time, domain is paling kiri to paling kanan, but range is paling atas, paling bawah, right? Because we are looking at the y-axis. So this is 6, and then paling bawah is 1. So the range will be 1, in between 1 and 6. Right? Sorry, it's not 1. Sorry. This is not 1, right? This is 2. Because this coordinate is 1, 2, so this should be 1. So it will be, we have to cover every value from 2 to 6. Right? So this is 2. Sorry. Okay? So this is the method. Okay? All right. Of course, everything I read above here, these are not the working. These are just my explanation. This is just the notes for you to remember. All right? The working is this one. All right? So that's all. Okay, let's continue with number 2. Simplify this one as a single term. Let's write it down. Negative log A base M minus log B base M minus log C base M. So we all know if we have separate log minus, we can combine them, become single log dy. So if I have something like this, log mn base A, right? We can, n over n. Okay, m over n. So this one is call it single log dy. single log divide, we can make it separate log minus, which is log am minus log an, like this. Okay, but of course you can convert here to here, but you can also convert from here back to here, can also. All right, but if this one is times, if it's single log times, then it will be separate log plus. All right, but since this one is minus, so we will be using this formula. Okay, how do we combine this into one? First, we have to make sure it's same base, and one more thing is depan cannot have number. Depan cannot have number. If depan have number, we have to bring it naikkan jadi power. So what I will do is I will bring this negative up. So what happens when I bring this? It will become power. The negative will become power -1 like this. Okay, because if we have log depan, kalau ada number boleh hantar atas, becomes power. And then this one I will just leave it like this, log mb, because there's already no number in front, so I'll just write like this. This one also no number in front already, so I'll just leave it like this. All right, I just want to make sure the paling depan one is like how to say, nothing in front, the paling depan punya term. That's all. And then now we can see it's separate log minus, separate log minus. We can combine everything into single log. So when we combine everything into single log, all this we have to write inside this bracket, right? So the a power -1, we have to write 1 over a, because a power -1 is actually 1 over a. So we will write 1 over a. All right. And then what about the b? Where should I write the b? If it's minus, we tulis bawah. If it's tambah, we tulis atas. Why? Because if plus means dia jadi darab. Darab means tulis atas. Atas this garisan, right? Because this is the fraction line. But if it's minus, means it will become divide. When it's divide, we have to write bawah. So can you tell me b have to write atas or bawah? We have to write bawah. Why? Because minus. What about C? Also tulis bawah because it's minus. Separate log minus, single log divide. Divide have to write bawah. So this is what will happen to your final answer. So this is your final answer. All right. But if you stop here, can also, you will get 1 mark already. But there's another way to write this. All right. So you can also write like this, log m. And do you remember 1 over ABC is actually ABC power what? -1, right? Yeah, because just now remember I told you a power -1 is 1 over a. Okay, a power -1 I read here. So if I ask you 1 over ABC, it's actually ABC power -1 lah. So -1 you can bring it front also, and then you will end up with negative log m ABC. All right, but I'm sure if you stop here, it's good enough already, right? So this is if you want to write until here, can also. You do it until like this, can also. All right, so that's how you do it, because they just want you to express as a single term. Like this also single term, right? So yeah, it's acceptable. All right, now let's do B. B, they want you to given this whole thing, find the values of A, B, and C. So where's the A, B, C? Okay, the B is here. The A is, where's the A? I didn't see any A. Okay, A is here. And then where's the C? Okay, the C is here. So how do we do this? I think we just simplify this side and simplify both sides until the simplest form, and then just compare. Yeah, that's the plan. Okay, but if you look at this 49 n power 5 n power c, there's nothing to simplify. You can't simplify this. All right, it's already the simplest form. All right, you can change the 49 to 7 power 2, but it doesn't really help, right? So I think this one you just leave it, but this one you can simplify. How do you simplify? Number dengan number boleh darab, m dengan m boleh buat sekali, n dengan n buat sekali. I repeat one more time. Nombor hanya boleh buat dengan nombor, m hanya boleh buat dengan m, and n hanya boleh buat dengan n. So apa dia akan jadi is nombor hanya boleh darab dengan nombor hanya boleh buat dengan nombor. So 2401 can only buat dengan a, because a is actually a number. So it becomes 2401 over a. And then m hanya boleh buat dengan m. So it becomes m power 10 hanya boleh buat dengan darab m power b and m power 7. So everything will become m power 10 plus b minus 7. Why is it like that? Because when you have two number with the same base, darab, what you will do is you will have to take the power plus, right? But then you have to divide. So what happens if same base divide, then the power minus? That's why this one, I just write it here. All right, and then of course, if there's nothing in between here, means times lah. All right, and there is one more, which is n. So n hanya boleh buat dengan n. So n power 4 times n power 2, which is n power 4 plus 2. Right, because when you have same base, darab, the power will be plus, and then we have to divide with n. So bahagi n means the power means n power 1 lah. N means n power 1. So I have to minus. Why minus? Because divide. When we have two number with same base, we divide them. the power we have to minus. So we end up with 2401 over A, and then times with m power b plus 3, because 10 minus 7 is 3, and then n power 4 plus 2 minus 1, which is just 5, right? And then here, you just copy exactly the same. Okay, now I think I already successfully simplify both sides. Now we can compare. How do we compare? We compare the number in front with the number in front. So we know 2401 over A, the whole thing is 49, right? And how do we find A? We can pinna the A up here, and then it will become 49. A equals to 2401, and then the 49 move it here. So it becomes 2401 over 49, right? So to find A, I can just press my calculator. So let me press. Okay, my calculator give me 49. So the A answer is 49. And then now we compare M with M. So M with M is already same. So the power, we can compare them together. So 5 is equals to B plus 3, right? So I will just draw a line like this and then just write B plus 3 equals 5. Therefore, B equals 5 minus 3, which is 2. And then finally, my C. So N, I compare with N, and then the N power is C here, but the N power on the other side is 5. So the C is equals to 5. All right. So now I think I have my final answer already. Dot, 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 A equals 49, comma, B equals 2, comma, C equals 5, right? So that's the final answer. Okay. Okay, question number 3. So 3a, they say solve the equation e power 3x plus 2 equals to 10. So let's write down e power 3x plus 2 equals 10. They want to solve. Solve means find x. Please don't tell me you go and find e. E is not something that you can find. E is actually a number, just like pi. Like pi is like 3.141, blah, 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 like that, right? 1415 and so on. E is also a number like that. Right, but it's 2 point something. Okay, so what you want to do now is not to find e, you want to find the x. So what you do is you can pinda the number base to the other side, right? Do you remember this? You can always this one, we call it indices form, right? We can always convert to log form. How to convert this log form is we can pinna the number base. When we pinna the number base will become the log base, so it becomes log base e. And then what's left here? 3x plus 2, but the 3x plus 2 is not the power anymore. It becomes a normal number, and then the 10 we write here. And do you remember you learned before, if log base e, it means what? We call it natural log. Do you remember? So if I say log base e, it's actually the ln, okay, the natural log. And you can find this button in your calculator. Okay, but if you don't want to write like this, you want to press you want to write like this, can also, is the same thing. So now it'll be 3x plus 2, and then log base e is just ln 10, and ln is natural log. So how do you find your x now? Well, you just press natural log 10 plus 2 become minus 2, and then times 3 becomes divide 3. And now you press all this in your calculator. So let me press, use the ln 10, close bracket, minus 2, equal first, then only you divide 3. So my calculator give me 0.1, usually I write 4 significant figures, so I write 0.1009, okay, because it's 10086, so 1009. The 0 in front, we don't count it as significant figure. Make sure you know that. Okay, now we continue with B question. So B question, they say solve this equation. All right, so they give you this. Okay, let's look at this. This is log base 3, this is log base 9, and then there's a 4 on the other side. Okay, how do we do this? Of course, the base is not same, so we have to change to same base, right? But there's also fraction, right? And I don't like fraction, right? So why not we make the fraction go away first? So how do we hilangkan the fraction? How do we jadikan dia satu baris? Because sekarang ada 2 baris. So how do we make it satu baris? We can pindah this whole thing below and then pindah to this side. Then it will become times, right? Because this one whole thing bawah means divide. So it becomes log base 3, 6 plus 5x, and then you will take the 4 times with this, which is log 4 log 9, 2 plus x. Okay, and the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want it to have fraction. Now only I change to same base, right? Now only I will change, I will make it same base, both sides, and then I just compare both sides. Yeah. Okay, now what will I do? Let's see. This is log base 3, this is log base 9. So I will change the base, right? So how do we change base? Base 3 and base 9. 3 and 9, they both can change to base 3, right? So I will change both sides to base 3. But this one is already base 3, so I will just leave it. But this one is not base 3 yet, so I will change the base. But before changing base, make sure the pan log don't have number. If have number, you have to bring it up here so that it becomes power. So it becomes 2 plus x power 4 now. Now only you can change base. So what is the changing base punya formula? You will write log over log. And then what you write atas, log punya number you tulis atas. So the 2 plus x power 4 you have to tulis atas. And then log punya base, which is 9, you put bawah. And then what you have to put for the base? Okay, you want to change to what base now? Base 3, right? So you just write 3, 3. All right? What this base you can write any number you want. Just make sure they are same, right? But since I want base 3 now, so of course I will write base 3. Okay, so the other side now is still log 3, 6 plus 5x, right? Okay, log 9 base 3 you can cut become 2, right? Because log 9 base 3 is 9 can change to 3 power 2, and then the 2 can bring in front, so it becomes 2 log 3, 3, and log 3, 3 is just 1, so that's why it's 2. So since this one is 2, what we can do is we can bring this to the because this 2 we can bring it here, become times, right? So when you times it will become what? 2 log 3 6 plus 5x. Of course, you can bring the 2 up, become power also, but I will not do that. I'll tell you why later. Huh? So the 2, I will not bring it up, become power. I'll just write in front. And then now the 4 also, I will bring it back to the front, right? So that it looks like this now, right? So now, instead of moving the 2 up, becomes power, I'll bring the 2 to the other side. So that now it will become 4 divide 2 here, right? 4 divide 2, which I will end up with 2, right? So I will just erase and write 2 log 3, 2 plus x. And then the other side here is log 3, 6 plus 5x, right? So now what I do is you already have both sides same base. But now before we compare, if you look at this, depan log don't have number. So this one, depan log also make sure don't have number. So just bring the 2 up here. So it becomes power. So it becomes 2 plus x power 2 lah. And then here is just log 3, 6 plus 5x. Now both side log depan already don't have number and they are both same base. So we can compare side by side. And then if the log base is same, it means the log inside here will be same also. So it means 6 plus 5x can equals to 2 plus x power 2, right? So 2 plus x power 2, right? So I think this bracket can erase. Okay, now we can solve for x. This is just normal, just like normal algebra lah. So what you do now is you expand this. How do we expand 2 plus x power 2? Okay, the fast way is to square depan, which is 2 square, dapat 4, and then depan darab belakang darab 2, 2 times x, which is 2x times 2, which is 4x, and then last step is belakang square, which is x square. And then here it will just be 6 plus 5x. All right, this is the fast way to expand. But of course, you want to do it slowly, 2 plus x times 2 plus x, and then do like that, can also, you will get the same. Okay, until you reach here, you saw that there's square. It means this is a quadratic equation. Quadratic means you have to move everything to one side equals 0. I will choose to move everything to this side. Because if I move everything here, my x square will be negative. So I will choose to move everything this side and then susun jadi general form. So x square, I will tulis paling depan. And then 4x and 5x, I will move the 5x there, become minus 4 minus 5, which is negative 1x. And then the plus 6, I will move here also. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. And then you just factorize using calculator and you should end up with 2 answers. You'll get x, 2, 1 minus plus. So the first answer is 2. The other answer is negative 1. All right. So let's see what the question wants. They want you to solve, right? Means find x. So I think I already finished this question. But wait. Can x be negative 1? Let's try to sub it in and see can x be negative 1. Okay, so let's see. If x is negative 1, what will be the bawah punya, the fraction bawah punya part? It will be log base 9, 2 plus x, right? And if my x is negative 1, it means it will be 2 plus negative 1 like that, right? We don't care about atas, huh? And then it will get something like this, which is log base 9, 2 minus 1, which is 1, right? And guess what? When you take log 1, you will get 0. Because log any number, log 1 will always be 0. Doesn't matter the base. So if I have log 1 base 3, it will be 0. It will be, if I have log 1 base 5, it will be 0. If I have log 1 base 10, it will be 0. Okay. You can try with your calculator. Okay. But you have to use the white color calculator lah. So you can try with any base. When any base you put, when you log 1, you will get 0. And we all know that we cannot divide by 0. Do you remember this? Division by 0 is not possible. So what do I have to write here? We have to write rejected for this answer, right? And the reason is very easy. The reason is because when x is negative 1, the denominator will be 0. Okay, then it means I'm dividing by 0, and dividing by 0 we already know it's undefined, right? We cannot divide by 0. That's why x cannot -1. But x can equal to 2, because when x equals to 2, the denominator is not 0. Yeah, the fraction bawah is not 0. The bawah fraction is not 0, because if x is 2, well, 2 plus 2 is 4. So log 4 base 9 is something else. It's not 0. That's why the only answer that we accept here is the 2 answer. Okay, the x equals 2, right? Okay, let's continue with number 4, right? So let's read the question. A curve has a gradient function. Okay, take note, this word very important. Gradient function I teach in class before, right? It's called GF, right? GF, gradient function. And what is GF? The dy dx. Okay, the dy dx. Okay, so if they say gradient function is this, it means dy dx equals to 4x power 3 minus px. Okay, so very obvious that this one is the differentiation chapter. And what is the other word for dy dx? Gradient function ataupun gradient curve. Ataupun gradient curve. Okay. And how do we find gradient tangent from gradient curve? We just sub in the value of x, right? You remember all these things we learned in class, huh? Okay, let's erase this, see what they want. Where p is constant, this one tak penting. The tangent to the curve at 0.25 is perpendicular to this line. So the tangent to the curve, it means this curve definitely got passes through this point, 25, and this is also known as the tangent point, right? Because they say the tangent to the curve at this point, so this is the point where the tangent line touches the curve, right? And then it's perpendicular to this line, x plus 8y equals to 1. Okay, I can actually find my gradient tangent now, right? How do we find my gradient tangent from dy dx? You just sub in the x value inside. So what you do is you sub in the value of x here, and then you sub in with 2 with 2. Okay, what is 2 power 3? 8. 8 times 4, 32 minus 2p, right? And the p we don't know, but it's fine. Because they got mentioned one more information. My tangent is perpendicular to this line, right? To this line. So perpendicular, whenever you see this word perpendicular, you automatically have to think about this formula. M1 times M2 equals -1. You remember this? If two lines are perpendicular, when you take their gradient times together, you will get -1. So what we can do now, we can find the gradient of this line by changing this to linear form. Linear form means y equals mx plus c. So how do we find the gradient? We change it to y equals mx plus c. It means we make the y single. So the x, I will move it there, become -x plus 1, and then make the y single, divide 8, which is -1 over 8x, divide 8, which is 1 over 8. And why I convert this to this form is because now it's linear form, y equals mx plus c, and I can determine the gradient, which is -1 over 8. And guess what? This is the gradient normal. Gradient normal. Do you remember what is normal? So let's say I have a curve here, and let's say there's a line that touches the curve at one point. This line, we call it tangent, right? What is normal? Normal is always perpendicular with tangent. Then we call it the normal line, all right? So why I call this the gradient normal? Because they said the tangent is perpendicular to this line, all right? So this line, I don't care what line is this, but I know my gradient normal will be same with the gradient of this line, because they already said tangent is perpendicular to this line. That is why the gradient normal is -1 over 8. But how to get my gradient tangent? Well, we use this formula, because gradient tangent and normal is always perpendicular. So my mt, which is gradient of tangent, times with my mn will be -1. Sorry, will be -1, because they are perpendicular. That's why the two gradient times is -1. And we already know my gradient normal is -1 over 8. And then this is my mt, -1. And now you can solve for gradient tangent mt. Just take -1, divide -1 over 8, which is 8. Right? So what is my mt? 8. But look at this. This is also mt. This is also gradient tangent. So this and this can equal. They can equal. It means the 32 minus 2p can equals 8. Right? Means this one, I'll bring it up here. So now I can solve for p. I will move the 32. 8 minus 32. We press calculator. I think I get -24. Right? And then how to get p? It's just -24 divide -2. Negative divide negative is positive. 24 divide 2 is +12. So that would be the answer for A. Right? So this one is the answer. This one. Not this one. Okay. This one is still not the answer. This one. They want to find P, right? So that's how you do it. Okay, I will do my B here. Right? So let's see what they want. Find the equation of curve. Find equation means find y, right? But how can I find y? Well, we use the d by dx. We use the d by dx. So we already know d by dx equals to what? 4x power 3 minus px. And what is the p? 12. So minus 12x. But how to convert a dy dx back to y? We will integrate. We will integrate. And how I teach you in class, this d stands for differentiate. When you pindah, it will become this symbol. This symbol is the symbol for integration. And then it will be 4x power 3 minus 12x. And then what happens to the dx? The dx also you can move here. But when you move, it will become, you will tulis atas. Now, okay, originally it's duduk bawah, but when you pindah, you duduk atas like that, right? And once you pindah the d and the dx, what's left? Y. You know, y is the only thing left here, which is what I want lah. I want to find y, right? I want to find equation means find y, right? So let's erase all this. Okay, so this one move up, so it becomes dx. So now my job is just to integrate this, right? But this one is a indefinite integral. What is indefinite integral? It means there's no number here. And if there's no number here, you have to write plus c, all right? But if it's a definite integral, if there's number here, then you don't write plus c, all right? But this one, there's no number here. You have to, after you integrate, you have to write plus c. Okay, let's integrate first. How do we integrate? When we integrate, we will stop writing this symbol. We will use a big bracket. And then what happens to the power? We have to plus 1. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and we have to divide that power, which is 4. And then what about integrate? And then minus, so minus. And then what about integrate 12x? Same thing here. The power have to plus 1. X power 1 plus 1 is 2, and then divide 2 like this. And then close bracket, and don't forget to write plus c. Okay, because if there's no number here, you have to write plus c when you integrate. Now, you can simplify. 4 and 4 can cut, left with x power 4 minus 12 divided 2 is 6x squared plus c. But please don't stop your answer here. If you want to find equation, your equation should be y in terms of x only. The c cannot, you have to find out the c. You cannot stop here. But how to find the c? Okay, very easy. If you want to find the c, you just have to have the x and the y value. Because once you sub in the x and y value, you will get the c, right? But which x, y value you will sub? You will sub with any point yang ada passes through. You will sub with any point yang the where the curve got passes through in your point. So which point the curve got passes through? The only point here you can use is the 2, 5. So what you do now is you will sub in x 2, y 5. So the y will be 5, the x is 2 power 4, and then 6x squared. This one is just 2 plus c. All right. Okay. So after you do this, you can find your c. Okay. All right. So how do we do this? So 5 equals to 2 power 4 is 16. 2 power 2, 6. 2 power 4, 4 times 6 is negative 24, right? And then c will be, use calculator lah. 5 minus 16 plus 24. Okay, my calculator give me positive 13. All right. So my c is 13. So finally, what is my final answer? What is my equation of curve? It will be this baris. Which baris? It will be this baris. So it will be y equals x power 4 minus 6x squared plus c. I already know it's 13, so plus 13. So this is my equation of curve. All right. So remember this. Whenever we find c, what we do, we will sub in a point yang ada passes through. All right. So, but we can only sub in when the point got passes through. If this point we don't, if we cannot sub in any point, we have to sub in. We have to make sure the point that we substitute inside the curve got passes through, then only we can substitute inside, right? And this point there memang ada passes through, right? So that's how you do it. Okay. Okay, let's continue with number 5. Okay, number 5. This is vector, I think. So let's read the question. Given points P1, P minus 1, and R 9, 8, and then find the possible values of P for each of the following case. Soalan A, vector OP and vector OR are parallel. So if they say OP and OR are parallel, what you can do here? It means you vector OP and vector OR, they can equal. Okay, but you have to tambah K. You remember this method? When they mention two vector are parallel ataupun collinear. Collinear and parallel maksud dia lebih kurang sama. It's just that parallel is selari, collinear is segaris. But cara yang kita buat dalam exam sama. For parallel collinear, we will do like this. If we have two vector that are parallel, we just take two vector equal and then tambah K, that's it. Right? Why we have to tambah K? Because K is the ratio. This one is the ratio. Okay? So we will do it like this lah for this question. But before we do like this, first we have to make sure we have vector OP and vector OR first. But we don't have vector OP and OR. So what we can do? We can find out vector OP and OR first. How do we find vector OP? Okay, O is the origin. O is the origin. It means going from O, it means going from 0, 0. And when you go to point P, it will be I have to take the P coordinate minus O coordinate. You understand? Because if I'm going from O to P vector, I want the O to P vector. It means I have to take P coordinate minus O coordinate. But if I want P to Q coordinate, then I have to take the Q coordinate minus the P coordinate to get the vector, right? To get the coordinate vector. Okay. But what if I want P to R? Then I have to take R coordinate minus P coordinate to get the vector PR in terms of ij. But I want O to P, so I have to take P coordinate minus O coordinate. But since the O coordinate is 0, 0, so what happens when you take 1 minus 0 and P minus 1 minus 0? You will just end up with 1. So your vector will be in terms of ij, like this, ij, right? Because this is coordinate vector, right? So your what you have to write in front here is the x coordinate minus x, which is 1 minus 0, right? And nothing happened, it will just be 1. And then P minus 1 also minus 0, which is, you will get in the end is just I plus P minus 1j. So this is the vector OP, right? Let's find out vector OR also. So how to find vector OR? You have to take R coordinate minus O coordinate or O coordinate minus R coordinate. Mestilah you take R coordinate minus O coordinate, and it will be in terms of ij. Okay, because it's coordinate vector. Coordinate vector is in terms of ij. So it will be R coordinate minus O coordinate, which is 9 minus 0, 8 minus 0. 9 minus 0 you have to write here. 8 minus 0 you have to write here. Alright, and you have to know I represents pergerakan yang kiri kanan. J represents pergerakan yang atas bawah. Okay, okay lah, but this one is just extra information. So you will get 9i plus 8j. After you have these two vector, now you can take these two vector equal, right? OP and OR can equal, but have to tambah K, right? And this K is the ratio, okay? But actually, there's another method to do this question. Okay, later I'll show you like a shortcut method. All right, let's do it like this first. So the vector OP is what? I plus bracket P minus 1j, and then K bracket OR, which is 9i plus 8j. Oh, by the way, I want to mention something. When you add this K, it doesn't have to be K. It can be any alphabet you want. Just make sure you don't use alphabet that already exists in the question. Like for example, P. If you use P, later you will confuse, because if the soalan got P already and then you use P, so don't use alphabet yang sudah ada dalam soalan lah. Okay, so I use K. Usually I just use K. Okay. All right. Now what I do is I will expand this. After expand, I just compare. Okay, so this one I leave it, I plus P minus 1j, and then this one I just expand. I'll get 9ki plus 8kj, and then now I compare. How to compare? I will compare the coefficient of I with coefficient of I. So the coefficient of I is 1 here, and then the coefficient of I here is 9k. So I compare them together. And then the coefficient of j, I compare with coefficient of j. So P minus 1 equals to 8k. So I can find my k now. It's 1 over 9. And then I will just sub inside the k 1 over 9 here. I will get P minus 1 equals 8 over 9. And then P equals to 8 over 9 plus 1. I think it's 17 over 9. Okay. Okay, let's scroll down a bit. So my P answer is 17 over 9, right? Okay, that is my A answer, right? But I want to show you a faster way to do this, right? Because I look at the marks, there's only 2 marks, right? So there's actually a shortcut to do this. Since we have vector OP and vector OR, and they are parallel, right? They are parallel. Only if they're parallel, you can do like this. So what you can do is, you can straight away bulletkan the coefficient of I, bulletkan coefficient of J, bulletkan coefficient of I, bulletkan coefficient of J. So this is the shortcut method. The shortcut method. The other method to this question. The shortcut method is like this. You can take this coefficient, this one, yang kanan bahagi kiri pun boleh, yang kiri bahagi kanan pun boleh. But if I am you, I will take kiri bahagi kanan, because my P is here. So it will be P minus 1 divide with 8 equals to 1 divide 9. You understand? It means the shortcut method works like this. When two vectors are parallel, you can straight away take the coefficient and you divide. Okay, but you will take I coefficient divide I coefficient equals to J coefficient divide J coefficient. But for this case, I will take J here, but it's up to you. You want to take this one, this one bahagi this one also can, or this one bahagi this one also can. But I choose to take this one bahagi this one because my P is here. So it'll be P minus 1, J coefficient bahagi J coefficient. So P minus 1 divide 8 equals to 1 divide 9. And then what you do is just pindah, and then you get P minus 1 equals 8 times 1 over 9, which is 8 over 9. And then P equals 17 over 9. So can you see the answer is same with this method? So yeah, you can use both methods to do. All right, so this one I'll just put it in the box. So if you do it like this, I think correct also. You do it like this can also, right? Because it's 2 marks only. This question only 2 marks. All right. So this is another method lah. All right. Okay. Now I still have one more question. The question B, right? Okay. Let's make this smaller. Can I make this smaller? Okay. Let's make it smaller like this because I need space. Okay. So this one I erase, 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 erase. Okay. Let's do the B question here. So the B question says what? Magnitude of vector OP equals to magnitude of OR. Okay, this one is magnitude. This symbol we call it magnitude, not modulus. In this chapter, this symbol we call it the magnitude. And what is the formula for magnitude? Square root, do you remember? Square root, bracket square plus bracket square, right? And then the other side is also to find magnitude of OR. So you open another square root, also bracket square plus bracket square. And what we have to put inside the bracket? The number in front of ij. Okay, the number in front of ij. All right, because this magnitude formula is actually come from the Pythagoras theorem. So what you have to put inside is the ij in front number, the number in front of ij, right? So what is the number in front of ij for vector OP? So for vector OP, I do it just now. It's 1 and p minus 1. So this one I put 1, this one I put p minus 1. And then for OR, what I have to put inside the magnitude, it will be the number in front of ij, which is 9 and 8, right? And then now I'll just solve for this, and then I will get my p, right? But before I solve, I have to hilangkan the square root. And how do we do that? We square both sides. So we square both sides like this. We square both sides. So what happens when I square both sides? The square root and square will cut each other. They will cancel each other out. So we just left with 1 square, which is 1. P minus 1 square. Should I expand this? Okay, actually it's up to you. You want to expand also can. You don't want to expand also can. But I will not expand it. All right. But actually, if you expand it, you will get the same answer also. All right. But I don't want to expand it. Later, I'll tell you why. And then 9 square plus 8 square. This one you just let's calculator. So what is 9 square plus 8 square? You will get 81 plus 64, which is 145. Right. So I'll just end up with 145 here. And since I'm finding p, I will pin out the 1. So it becomes p minus 1 square plus 1 become minus 1, which is 144. And then the square I move there becomes square root. But when you square root, you have to write plus minus. So it means plus minus square root 144. It means there's two answers. Positive 12. And the other one is p minus 1 equals negative 12. Because when you square root, satu positive, satu negative. So p is equals to 12 plus 1, which is 13. Or p can also be negative 12 plus 1, which is negative 11. Right? And I think both answer can. You have to write both answer. Okay? I think both answer also accepted. Right? Okay, I want to mention what if you expand here. What if you expand this p minus 1 square, it becomes p square minus 2p plus 1. Okay, can also. But if you do it like this, then after you reach here, you will get a general form. And then what you do with the general form, you use calculator to press calculator, and you will get two answers. And believe me, you will get these two answers also. All right. So can also. All right. Different method, but same answer. Okay. So yeah, you can do that. Right. Okay, let's continue with number 6. I think this is linear law. So from 4 chapter. Okay, let's read the question. The variable x and y are related by this equation. Okay, when we are doing linear law, I always tell students the same thing. Whenever they give you equation, you will straight away change to linear form. We don't care what this question wants, right? We will always change to linear form. Okay, it's always like that, right? So I will straight away change to linear form. And how to change to linear form? Equation mesti sama dengan y-axis. Okay, if the equation is not same with the y-axis, it means it's not linear form, right? Linear form means y equals mx plus c. So how do we change supaya saya punya equation sama dengan paksi y, sama dengan y-axis? My y-axis now is log y, and my equation don't even have the log. So what we have to do is we have to tambah log. But when we tambah log, we can choose any base we want, and we have to tambah both sides, by the way. So since it's the y-axis is log base 10, I will tambah base 10 both sides, log base 10. And then here will be y, and here will be pq power x. All right. And then now you will get log y base 10. Walaupun your equation sudah sama dengan y-axis, but it's still not linear form because it's not y equals mx plus c. So this part you will have to separate it. This one is single log times. Can you see there's nothing in between means times. So single log times, separate log plus. So it will be log 10p plus log 10q power x. And what we can do with the power, we can bring in front. All right. Do you remember this? When log punya number ada power, power can hantar depan, right? Okay, finally, now we can just arrange a little bit. because I want it to be y equal mx plus c. So how do we arrange? We have to write the x log q first. But instead of writing x log q, I will write log q times x. Actually, it's the same thing. X times log q times x is the same. But why we have to write like this? Because linear form. Y equal mx plus c, right? And then only I'll write the log 10p. Now only you can write big Y equals to m big X plus c, right? It means your y-axis is log y, betul. Your x-axis is x, betul. And then it means your gradient is your log q, and then your y-intercept c is the log p, right? Like that. Can you see this one the question never asked me to do it, right? I just do it myself whenever I do equation, right? Okay, now they give me a diagram. Now only I read the question. Diagram 6 shows the straight line obtained by plotting log y against x. Okay, this one. Find the values of p and q. So can you see, if I don't do this, how can I find the p and q, right? I cannot find. That is why when doing linear log equation, linear law question, when they give you equation, it's always the same. The first step is always changing the equation to linear form first, right? So you whenever you do linear law, when they give you equation, just change to linear form. Okay. All right. How to change to linear form? Make sure your equation sama dengan y-axis lah. All right. I already changed to linear form. Now I can find p and q. Okay. How to find p and q? I already tell you log q is the gradient, right? So I think I will continue here because I don't have space. So I'll just write log q is the gradient, right? Log 10q is the gradient, right? And then what about the y-intercept? Not p, not p, is the whole thing. So log p is the y-intercept, all right? But when you write the y-intercept, you cannot write y-intercept. You have to write big, big, how to say, capital letter. You have to write big letter. Why I have to write big letter? Because this y is actually not y, it's actually log y, right? So that's why you have to write huruf besar. So now I just need to find my gradient, and I just need to find my y-intercept, and then we can find my p and q. Okay, from the diagram, you can clearly see the y-intercept is given already. It's 3, right? So this is the y-intercept, right? And make sure the y use huruf besar. So now how to find p? Okay, log something base something equals to something. You can perform anti-log. What is anti-log? It means you pindah the log base to the other side, and then what happens to the log base? It will become the number base, and then the 3 will become the power. So now p is 1000, right? So I already find my p. How to find my q? Use gradient, right? So what is gradient formula? Y minus y over x minus x, but you need 2 coordinate. Do I have 2 coordinate in the diagram? Yes. One coordinate is 0, 3, the other one is 7, 0, right? Which is, so y minus y will be 3 minus 0, divide x minus x is 0 minus 7. Ataupun you can also use the other gradient formula, which is negative y-intercept over x-intercept. Can also, all right? But that formula is like only specific case can use, because the other formula for gradient is negative y-intercept over x-intercept. But this gradient formula we only use when they give you y-intercept and x-intercept, all right? And it's not always they will give you y-intercept and x-intercept, but this question they will give you lah. That's why you can use this formula also, right? But if you don't want to use this, you can do it like me, y minus y, x minus x can also. All right, what you end up here, log q base 10 equals to 3 divided negative 7, which is negative 3 over 7. So your q will be what? Q will be 10 power negative 3 over 7. So because this one log base, same thing lah, you perform anti-log. What happens when you pindah the log base to the other side? It becomes the number base, right? And then, okay, let me erase this. And then you just, the negative 3 over 7 will just be power, right? So now you can find your Q, just press this in your calculator. So let's press 10 power negative, bracket, negative 3 over 7, and then close bracket. Make sure you put bracket. All right, so my calculator give me 0.372. Okay, just write 4 same figure, so 3728. Yeah, so this is my Q answer. All right, so that's all. All right, let's continue with question B. So is the B question related to A? I don't know. Let's read the question. The variable x and y are related by this equation. So as you can see, this equation and this equation is not the same equation. So I think the B and A question is not related. So I think I can just cover the, I think I can just scroll down. Okay, let's just do this question. Okay, this is the equation, and then where A and B are unknown constant, explain how the A and B can be obtained. So I'm doing B question now. How can we find my A and B? Well, it's the same step. For linear law, it's always the same. Change to linear form. So y equals to ax power b. This is not linear form. This is not linear form. And how do we make it into linear form? We want to make it into y equal mx plus c. So how? We will tambah log also. When you see got power like this, means you have to add log both sides. So what you do, log base 10, log base 10. So here will be y, here will be a times with x power b. Single log times, single log times, single log times. Separate log plus. So it will be log 10a plus log 10x power b. And what we can do with the power, we can we can bring in front. 100 depan. And then this side is still log 10y, but it's still not linear form yet. How can we make it equal? So how can we make it supaya dia jadi y equal mx plus c? We have to arrange. We have to susun. So when we susun, we will write y axis equals to mx. So mx means I have to write this one first. B times log 10x. Then only we write the log 10a, right? So yeah, this is the linear form. So now you can write y equals to mx plus c. It means what is your y-axis? Log y, right? So when you draw, when you plot this, the y-axis will be log y base 10. And then what will be your x-axis? Not x, your x-axis will be this, the log 10x, right? And then what about your gradient? Your gradient will just be your b. So your b is the gradient. Your b is the gradient. And then what is your c? Not a, it will be the whole thing, log a. So log 10a will be your y-intercept. And remember, the y have to use huruf besar. Okay, y have to use huruf besar because your y-axis is not actually y, it's the log y. So if you don't want to write y-intercept, you can also write like this. You can also write this log y-intercept. Like that also can, right? But usually when I teach in my class, I always just ask them to write y huruf besar, right? So that's how you explain how the a and b can be obtained. So this is how you obtain the a and b lah. You obtain the b by finding gradient, you obtain the a by finding y-intercept. But of course, after you find the y-intercept, you still have to shift log, right? Because you want to find a means you have to pindah the log. It means you have to 10, it means you have to pindah the log base, becomes 10 power the y-intercept here, right? So this is how you calculate the a and b, all right? Okay, let's continue with question 7. So this question is what chapter? It's a circular measure chapter, right? Okay, let's read the question. Diagram 7 shows sector POQ. Okay, sector means sector shape consists of 3 lines, 2 radius and 1 arc. So POQ, I think is talking about this shape, right? This is the sector POQ. And then what else? And MON inscribed in a circle with center. Oh, where is MON sector? MON sector is, oh, this one, the big sector, this one. 2 radius and 1 arc. Okay, now it says what? The radius of circle and the radius of sector POQ is XCM and YCM. So radius of circle is XCM, radius of sector POQ is YCM. So POQ sector, the radius is Y. So PO is Y, QO is Y because they are both radius. And then XCM is the radius of the big circle. So the big circle's punya radius is from O to M. So O to M is X. So I will just, how do we label this? I'll just label beside like this lah. So O until N is X, and then O until M is also X, right? So if I want to find the length here, the short length here, we will just take X minus Y to get the shorter side here, right? But let's not do that first. Let's see what they want. Given that the perimeter of minor sector MON is 33.97, so they give us information. Perimeter of minor sector MON. Which one is sector MON? This one, this one, this one, right? This is the minor sector MON. So I think it's talking about this perimeter. It's 33.97. So I'll just write it, perimeter of minor sector MON equals to 33.97, right? So what is the perimeter of sector? I already told you sector consists of 3 lines, radius, radius, arc. So the first radius is X, the other radius is also X, so it will be X plus X, and then plus with the arc, and the arc will be arc MN. MN equals to 33.97. And how do we find the arc? By using the formula R theta. And the R for this sector is X, and then the theta will be how much? It will be this angle here. But the whole circle is 360. So I think I can take 360 minus 280, which is 80 degree. But we still have to convert the 80 degree to radian so that I can put it in here, right? And then only 33.97. All right, but let's not do it first, okay? Because I haven't even done reading the question, okay? This is just, what to say? Like, this is just some of my idea. I just write it down. This is not what the question asked. So I haven't finished reading the question, given that the perimeter of minor sector is this one, and the area of shaded region is 15.03. Shaded region is this one, the black color one, okay? So let's write it down also. Area of shaded region equals to 15.03 cm square. Okay, and then finally they say use pi equals 3.12, state MON in radian. Okay, I already know MON is 80 degrees, right? So for question A, it's very easy. You will, if you want to find MON, first you will just take 360 minus 280, you will get 80, and then now you take the 80 times with pi divide 180, but the pi is 3.142, and then divide 180 because you want to convert to radian, right? And then you just press this whole thing, then you get the answer, right? So let me just press my calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 1.396, right? Usually I always write 4 significant figures. You can write more if you want, but I always teach my student to write 4 significant figures. So 1.396, red means radian lah. Okay, this is my A answer. So this one only worth 1 mark. B says calculate the value of x and y to the nearest integer. I think to calculate B, I have to use the perimeter info and the area info, right? Because if we don't use this info, then why they give us, right? For sure they give us this is because they want me to use this information. So mesti lah, the B question we will need to use this information to find our x and y. So what we have to put here, do you remember just now? Here we have to put what? The arc MN, which is r theta formula. R is the radius is x, the theta is 80 degree in radian, and I already find it 1.396. So just put it in, right? So now you get x plus x, which is 2x, and then plus with 1.396x equals to 33.97. X dengan x boleh buat. So what is 2 plus 1.396? 3.396, right? So this is 3.396, and don't forget to write the x. So now I can find my x. Just press 33.97 divide 3.396. Okay, let me press my calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 10 point. Okay, if I write 4 significant figure, it's 10.00. The 0 have to write also because it's considered as significant figure. But look at the question. Calculate value of x and y to the nearest integer. Integer means no fraction, no decimal. So what is the nearest integer? 10 lah. So x is just 10 cm, right? But if the question never mention this, I will write 10.00. Okay, because I will always write 4 significant figure. Okay, and the 0 have to write also, even though it doesn't have any value. If they never mention nearest integer, I will still write it because the 0 is count as significant figure. With the 0 at the back, we count it when there's a decimal point, right? But this one, since they already mentioned they want nearest integer, so I'll just erase the decimal point. So this one is 10 cm lah. Okay, how to get my y? I think I have to use this information lah, the shaded region one. So how do we find the shaded region? Okay, the shaded region, I think I have to take the big sector. All right, the big sector minus the small sector and minus with this. And what do we call this shape? Do you remember? What is this shape in between the arc and the chord? What do we call this shape? This one we call it chord, by the way. And then this one we call it arc. So the region in between the arc and chord, this small shape, we call it the segment. In Bahasa Melayu, the tembering, right? And there is one formula for you to find area of tembering. Do you remember? Okay, let's go through all the formulas for this chapter. Okay, where should I write it? Okay, I'll just write it here. So the first formula you have here is what? The arc formula. The arc formula is S equals R theta, right? Next formula is the chord. Chord formula is 2R sine theta over 2, right? Next formula is the area of sector. Okay, let's just write area of sector. The formula is 1 over 2 R squared theta. And then the last formula is area of segment. Area of segment, right? It will be 1 over 2 R squared bracket theta minus sine theta. So these are the formulas in this chapter, right? And if there's no trigo in front, the theta have to be in radian. So this one have to be in radian. This one have trigo in front, so degree. This one have to be in degree. This one in radian. This one in radian, but this one in degree. Because this one got sign in front, but this one don't have anything in front. So these are the formulas, right? So now what I should do, I should use which formula? I will focus on these two formula, sector and segment, right? Because I'm finding area now. So let's find, the first thing I do here is get the area of big sector first by using 1 over 2 R squared theta formula. So what is the radius? X, right? But the X I already know is 10. So it will be 10 square and then times with theta, and the theta have to be in radian. 80 degree in radian is 1.396. So this is how you find the This is the formula to find the area of the big sector, which is OMN sector. But we have to minus with the small sector, right? So what we have to minus 1 over 2, we use back the same formula, 1 over 2 r squared theta, but this time your r is y. Your radius is y, because the small sector radius is y, and then the angle in radian is also 80 degree, which is 1.396 radian, right? Okay, and then finally, after you minus this, you have to minus one more thing, right? After you take the big sector minus the small sector, you have to minus with this segment also. And what is the area of segment formula? I write down here already. 1 over 2 r squared theta minus sine theta. So let's plug it in. 1 over 2 r squared theta minus sine theta. What is the r? Okay, if you look at the segment, this segment, if you want to know the radius and the angle, you will look at the center. So this segment is in how to say, it's surrounded by this arc and this chord, and this arc and this chord, this arc punya center is O. So what would be the radius? It would be x, which is 10. And then what would be the theta minus sine theta? Obviously it's 80, right? But you have to put in radian, which is 1.396, and then minus sine 80, because the formula is like that. 1 over 2 r squared theta minus sine theta. The first theta is in radian, the second theta in degree. That is why you see the first one I write 1.396, but the other one I write in degree 80, right? And don't forget, this whole thing is equals to 15.03, right? Okay, is there any way to make this like smaller? Let's see. Okay, maybe big bit. Yeah, like that. Okay, so this whole thing equals to what? 15.03. Okay, like that. Okay, now I calculate this one first. So 1 over 2 times 10 square, which is 50, because 10 square is 100. So 100 divided 2 is 50 times 1.396. Okay, my calculator give me 69.8. So let's write it down. 69.8. But I have to minus with this one, right? Okay, this one, we will just press 1.396 divide 2. Okay, so 1.396 divide 2. Okay, my calculator give me 0.698, but don't forget the square. So 0.698, don't forget the y square, huh? And then minus with this one. So this whole thing, I will press 10 square divide 2 first, which is 50. And then 50, open bracket, 1.396 minus sine 80, close bracket, right? Okay, my calculator give me 20.56. Just write 4 significant figure, huh? And then equals to 15.03, right? So now how to find y? Okay, we can 69.8 minus 20.56, we can do it first, right? Okay lah, no need lah, just straight away pindah to the other side lah. So I will just leave the 6.98 y square here, and then I will pindah this one to the other side, this one also pindah other side. So I will press 15.03 minus jadi plus 20.56, and then plus jadi minus 69.8. Okay, straight away they give me negative 34.21, right? And then now I can find my y square, which is negative 34.21 divide negative 0.698. Okay, negative divide negative is positive, and then 34.21 divide 0.698, I get 49.01. 49.01. So y square equals to 49.01. Just write 4 same figures. So now what is my y? Square root this, right? So let's press square root and see what they give me. So square root 49.01. Okay, it will be 7.000. So 7 because they want nearest integer, right? So my y will be plus minus square root 49 plus minus 7 lah, because square root 49 is 7. But I don't think you have to write the plus minus. I think it's okay, you just write 7 cm, because y is actually the radius, is the panjang. Panjang mana ada negative? Panjang cannot have negative. That is why, but this is my x answer, this is my y answer. All right, so this whole thing is the B working. Okay, so hope you understand, huh? Okay, that's all. Okay, let's continue with number 8. Number 8, this is from 5 chapter, it's called probability distribution. Taburan kebarangkalian. When we do probability distribution, the first step is to determine whether it's a binomial distribution or normal distribution first. So this one I can tell you straight away is binomial, because this graph you only see it in binomial distribution. So let's read the question. The diagram A shows the graph of binomial. See, they even mention it. Binomial distribution. So you jangan bagi tahu saya, oh kena pergi tengok itu jadual Z punya jadual, tak ada. That one is normal distribution, only we refer the jadual. Binomial distribution, we don't do it like this. Right? Binomial, we just use the binomial formula, And also we can use the mean formula and the variance formula and the standard deviation formula. All right. Okay, let's see what they give you. B stands for binomial, and then they put NP here and they give you the diagram here, right? So what this means here is when x equals to 0, the probability is this one. That's what it means. And then when x equals to 1, the probability this y-axis gives you okay, the y coordinate, okay, the y coordinate of this point, that's it would be the probability, okay, the probability. And then the x-axis, this one is the x value, okay, the x value. And then everything on the y-axis is the probability. Okay, let's see what they want first. List down all the discrete random variable x for the distribution. It means they want you to just list down all the possible values of x. So we will look at our x-axis lah. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the answer, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? It means maybe 0 times dia success, ataupun 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time. That's all. 4 is the total number of trial. So just until 4 only. Okay. And 0 have to include also. Okay, now for my B question, they say Px smaller sama dengan 3 is 0.959. Find the value of P. P is probability of success. Okay, P is probability of success. So how do we find that? Okay, they got giving information here. So I'm sure we will be using this information to find value of P, right? If no, then why they give me, right? Mestilah dia bagi kita, if they give us information, of course they will want us to use it. So my B question 1, I will do it here. So they already said Px smaller sama dengan 3 is 0.959. Means Px equals 0 plus Px equals 1 plus Px equals 2 plus Px equals 3. Okay, I want to write like this because I need a lot of space. So you get the idea lah. It means Px smaller sama dengan 3 equals to 0.959. It means Px equals 0 plus Px equals 1 plus Px equals 2 plus Px equals 3 equals to this, right? So the other way to find this is 1 minus Px equals 4 is equals to 0.959, right? And then we can find Px equals to 4 from here. And after I find my Px equals 4, I can find my P by using the binomial distribution punya formula. Okay, let me explain a bit. When we want to find value of P, when we want to find probability of success, you have to either use the Px equals 0 or Px equals 4 to find. If you use the one in the middle, it's very hard because the formula for binomial distribution is NCX, P power X, Q power N minus X. You can only find the P, okay, when because if you don't have the P, means you don't have the Q also, right? So it's very hard to find if you do Px equals 1, 2, and 3. But when Px equals to 4, means this will be 4C4, you can cut this. And then this whole thing also you can cut. Because if here is 4, here will be 4, here will be 0. That is why it's easier to do it when you use Px equals 4. You understand? That is why I try to convert this information to Px equals 4. Okay? What about Px equals 0? Px equals 0 can also. You can also use Px equals 0 to do. Because Px equals 0 means what? It will be NC0, and then this one will be P power 0, this will be Q power N minus 0, which is N lah, okay? But if you do it like this, what happens to your P is your P will get cut, right? And then your NC0 also can cut because this one is 1, this one is 1. So you will left with Q power N, right? And you know your N is 4 lah in this case. So actually can also, but if you do it like this, you will find your Q first, then you have to take 1 minus to get your P. But can also, all right? So to summarize what I say just now, when you want to find probability of success, it's easier to find using Px equals 0 ataupun Px equals 4. That's all. All right. That is why I convert this information to Px equals 4. But how to find my Px equals 4? I will just move this Px equals 4 to here so that it become positive. And then this one, I move it there, become minus. So now I will press 1 minus 0.959. So when I press this, I will get 0.041. Okay. Wait, is it 0.041 or 0.41? 0.041. So this is the probability for Px equals 4, right? So now since I know my Px equals 4 to 0.041, now I can use the binomial formula, which is NCX, so 4C4, and then bracket equals to 0.041. This bracket I will masuk probability of success, which is P. This one is probability of failure, which is 1 minus P. But since I don't have, I just call it Q. And then the power here will be same with the number down here, which is 4. And then this power will be atas minus atas. So 4 minus 4 is 0. And can you see I can cut this? Why I can cut? Because 4C4 is 1. Q power 0 also can cut because it's also 1. So now how to find P? you will pindah the power 4 to the other side. When you pindah 4, you become fourth root. Okay, fourth root. So how you tekan this in your calculator? You will tekan 4 and then shift the power button and then 0.041. Okay, my calculator give me 0.44998. And if you round off this to 4 significant figure, you get 0.4500. Right? So 0.45. I think you write 0.45 is also good enough, right? So that would be the number 1 punya answer. What about number 2 question? They want to find mean and variance. So the mean symbol is this, and the formula is n times p. Okay, and p. And then what about variance? Variance symbol is like this. The formula is npq. Okay, so now we just do it lah. Okay, one more thing is you can only use this mean formula and variance formula when it's binomial distribution. If it's normal distribution, please don't use this formula. This formula is only used when it's a binomial distribution question. This formula also same. This formula also is only be used in if it's binomial question. Okay, n times p, n is 4, all right? Because the total number is 4, and then the p is 0.45. So I think I press this, I'll get an answer. And then what about my variance? It will be npq, so it will be 4 times 0.45 times with the q 0.55. Okay, let me erase and write nicely. Okay, so 4 times 0.45 times 0.55. Okay, how I know the q is 0.55? Because I take 1 minus p, 1 minus 0.55. That's 1 minus 0.45. That's how I get the q, the probability of failure. Okay, now you just press calculator. Okay, the first one is 1.8, and the second one was 0.99. Okay, so just write it down. So that's how you do it. Okay, so please remember this formula you can only use for binomial distribution. Okay, there's one more formula, which is the formula for standard deviation. It will be square root npq, right? For mean is np, for variance is npq, for standard deviation it is square root npq. So remember these 4 formulas: 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th formula is this: ncx, p power x, q power n minus x. So these 4 formulas, 1, 2, 3, 4, you only use when it's a binomial distribution. All right. If normal distribution question, please don't use this formula. Okay. All right. Let's continue. Number 9. So given that x and then n, the n stands for what? Normal. So is this a binomial distribution or normal distribution? Normal distribution. So do you remember last question baru saya bagi tahu? The 1, 2, 3, 4, this 4 formula we only use when it's a binomial. So for question number 9, this one is question number 8. For question number 9 just now, can I use this 4 formula? Cannot. Cannot. All right. Because it's a normal distribution. So normal distribution, you should use the jadwal. All right. You should use the jadwal. But let's read the question first. They already says xn 45, 90.25. What this means is the mean is 45 and then the variance is 90.25. That's what it means. All right. The variance is 90.25. It means whenever they write in this form, x n here, you have to know in front here, it will be the mean, this will be the variance, right? That is why I can take out the information like this. And then they say find value of k if p bracket 40x k equals to 0.1025. Okay, how do we solve this? Please don't tell me you go and use this formula. Please don't tell me you go and use the NP formula or the NPQ. Don't do that. Don't do that. This is not binomial distribution. For not the question I'm doing now is normal distribution. So you shouldn't use the NP NPQ formula. All right. We only use that formula when it's a binomial distribution. Then what is the use of this mean and variance? Well, for normal distribution, why they give you mean and standard deviation is for you to convert to Z, right? Because when you do normal distribution, you will look at your jadwal, and when you look at your jadwal, you have to convert to Z. How you convert? X minus mean bahagi standard deviation. So the reason why they give me mean and standard deviation is to convert to Z. But since they give me variance here, I can quickly convert to standard deviation. Just square root the variance. So just square root this, I will get my standard deviation. Because variance is not is useless. For normal distribution, the variance we don't use it. We don't use it. All right. We only need the standard deviation in normal distribution. So this one is 9.5. So now we have our mean, our standard deviation. Now I can convert from x to z freely. So now I can look at this information. And what is the first step? Convert to z. Because now it's x value. So how to convert from x to z? Take the x, which is 40, minus mean 45, divide standard deviation 9.5. And then this x, I will write z now. And then the k also do the same thing. K minus mean, which is 45, over standard deviation 9.5 equals to 0.1025. Now, I have to press calculator and see what I get here, right? So let's press calculator. 40 minus 45 is negative 5. 5 divided 9.5, it's 0.526. Okay, just write 3 decimal place. Okay, 3 decimal place is enough. But why? Why write 3 decimal place? Because when you look at your jadual later, your jadual when you baca outside, okay, when you tengok luar, baca luar, you can only baca until 3 decimal place in your jadual, right? That is why we only write 3 decimal place. And by the way, this one later have to baca outside. We have to tengok outside, bukan tengok dalam. We have to baca luar. Kenapa baca luar? Sebab dia bagi uh, dia bagi dalam and bagi luar. Okay, tak apa, tak apa. But yang penting is this Z value we have to write 3 decimal place lah. And then here is Z, and then here cannot do. Why cannot do? Because you don't know the K, so you just leave it like this, just salin saja, and then equals to 0.1025. Okay, sampai sini we cannot continue already because we cannot how to say, we don't know the value for this. So what we do now is we will let C equals to this, because this one we cannot solve, so we let C equals to K minus 45 over 9.5. And then now your, okay, let's see, your this whole thing becomes C, so it becomes P 0.526, and then here is Z, here is C equals to 0.1025. Okay, but this one is negative, right? Yeah, negative. Sorry. I make a mistake here. This one is negative 0.526. So this one got negative. Okay, so your Z area now is in between negative 0.526 and C. So how to do this? Okay, let's sketch it out. So now we will draw it out. Okay, so in between negative 0.526, so it's somewhere here, negative 0.526. But the C we don't know is negative or positive, right? So it can be positive here, it can be negative here also, right? But it cannot be here, confirm not here one, because your C is definitely bigger than this. So it's either your C is here or here. But we know the area is 0.1025, and since, okay, it's possible to be here and it's possible to be positive also. Okay, since we don't know my C is positive or negative, I will just take 1 minus, because we really don't know the C is positive or negative, and there's no method to determine whether it's positive or negative. So what we do is we will just take 1 minus. So 1 minus what? Okay, let's draw it out. All right. Just now is what? It can be like this, where your C is here and the area in between here, or it can also be like this. Another possibility is your negative 0.526 is here, and then your C is negative here, and then you take the area here. Both this area can equal to 0.1025, right? So we don't know actually it's positive or negative. There's no way to prove it. Since there's no way to prove it and there's no way to know whether it's positive or negative, I will use the 1 minus punya cara. 1 minus what? 1 minus PZ smaller than negative 0.526, which is the area, this one I circle. And then don't forget to minus with PZ bigger than C, right? This part. It doesn't matter whether it's this case or this case, right? You will still take 1 minus this area and this area, this area and this area, which is the same. PZ smaller than negative 0.526 and PZ bigger than C, right? Equals to 0.1025. For now, I still don't know whether my C is positive or negative, but now at least I can pindah. Okay, what is PZ smaller negative 0.526? Smaller negative can change to bigger positive. Remember this? Smaller negative can change to bigger positive. And then the negative PZ bigger C, I can just move it to the other side, become PZ bigger C. And then the 0.1025, you can move it here, become minus 0.1025. Okay? It means now you left with PZ bigger C here, and then you can solve the left-hand side. What is 1 minus 0. Okay, no need lah, don't minus first. We baca jadual, get this value first, then only I straight away minus everything. So now I have to refer the jadual and cari PZ bigger 0.526. I can only tengok jadual when it's bigger positive. Okay, so this one is already Z bigger positive, so I can tengok jadual. So if I tengok how I want to tengok. Okay, before I scroll to the jadual, I tell you first how you should tengok. So this is your jadual. You have to tengok luar or tengok dalam. You have to tengok luar. Okay, you have to tengok from outside. Because this one, they give you inside bracket. So you have to tengok from outside. So what you do is you have to find 0.5. And then you have to find 2 here. And then for the third decimal place is 6. So I need this number and this number. Okay, so now let's scroll to the jadwal and find 0.526. So I will scroll up. until I see the jadwal. Okay, I found it already. So you remember just now I said I have to find 0.5, 2, and then for the tolak punya, I have to cari 6. So what would be the number? The number I take here is 0.3015 and this 20, right? And this 20, what we have to do, we have to tolak. But you don't press 0.3015 tolak 20. No, 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 no. You don't tolak like that. If you tolak like that, it's like that means wrong already. The 20 is you tolak dekat belakang. Okay, you actually tolak dekat belakang. So what you do is don't press 0.3015 divided 20. You just press 3015 minus 20. So the correct way to press is 3015 minus 20. So you get 2995, right? So the answer is 0.2995, right? So let's remember this value and write it in our working. So 0.2995. Okay, where is it? Okay, here, right? So let's write it 0.2995. And then now I can find my PZC value. Okay, let's make this smaller because we don't have enough space. Okay, like that. So, ayo, now it becomes, okay, wait. Yeah, I think like that. Okay, so let's draw a line here. So it will be PZ bigger C on this side. And then now I will press 1 minus 0.295 minus 0.1025. Let's press 1 minus 0.295 minus 0.1025. Okay, 0.598, right? Okay, now we can actually determine our C is positive or negative. Now it's possible to determine is positive or negative. Why? Because now it's not like in between like just now already. Now it's already PZ bigger C. So now you can draw two diagrams and then see whether your C is positive or negative. So your C, if it's negative, it will draw here. If C positive, it will draw here. But now the region is bigger. So bigger, it means I have to shade ke kanan, shade the right side. Okay. So which one of these do you think is the correct one? Look at the area. The area now is like the probability now is 0.598, which means it's already bigger than 0.5. It means your area now should be bigger than half. So your C is actually negative. So this is the wrong one and this is the correct one, right? Because the total area for this whole barrel shape is 1. So it means half of it is 0.5. So if your area here, your probability is more than 0.5, it means it's already more than half. More than half the bell shape. So this is the one, not this one. Okay, it doesn't make sense for this shape to be more than 0.5. Okay, because this one is not even more than half. So this one is more than half. So you say it's negative. And whenever I teach my student, I always say when you know your C is negative, straight away skip until the last baris and tulis siap siap C equals negative. Because if you don't do like that, you will forget later and then you will lose marks in your exam. So I will just tulis siap siap C equals negative. And since your C is negative, you have to use the 1 minus cara because your shaded region already intersect the axis. Okay, that's how I teach in class, right? When it intersect, you have to take 1 minus. 1 minus yang you tak mau. Yang you tak mau is the one I bullet here, which is PZ smaller than negative C equals to 0.598. Smaller negative, smaller negative, smaller negative can change to bigger positive equal to 0.598. And then how to find your PZ bigger C? You will pindah this whole thing to other side, become PZ bigger positive C, and then the 0.598 move here become 1 minus 0.598. So what is 1 minus 0.598? 0.402, right? So let's just erase this and write 0.402. Now only finally you can tengok jadual to get your C. And don't forget, you have to put the negative, right? Okay, now when you tengok jadual, you tengok dalam or tengok luar. This time you will tengok dalam. This time you will tengok dalam because you have the outside punya answer. So when you have the outside answer, you have to tengok dari dalam. It means instead of finding outside, you have to tengok dalam and cari 0.402 ataupun lebih sikit. Okay, I will show you. Let's go to the jadual. So 0.402 or lebih sikit. But we have to tengok dalam. So where is 0.402 or lebih sikit? So 0.402. Okay, this one cannot. Because I want 402 or lebih sikit. So it's this one, right? So I want this one is 4052. So 0.4052. But I want 0.402. So berapa saya kena minus? It means I have to press 4052 minus 4020 in my calculator. So what is 52 minus 20? 32. It means I have to tolak 32. Okay? Because I don't want 4052, I want 402. That's why I have to minus 32. So I have to go to the tolak column and find 32. Okay, there's no 32. There's only 31 and 35. So we just choose the near one. Which one is nearer to 32? 31. So now the answer will be, we butcher outside. Okay, when we tengok dalam, we already know this one. Now we will just butcher, 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 butcher like this. So the answer will be what? 0.248, right? Because I want to minus 32 and the only number near to 32 is 31. So we will butcher atas, butcher atas, and then butcher outside. So it'll be 0.248. That's the answer, right? But the answer is not 0.248. You remember, have to add negative just now. So your C is actually negative 0.248, all right? And don't forget, you have to find K. Remember, they're asking you to find K, right? Find value of K. So your C just now, do you remember you let C equals to K minus 45 divided 9.5. So how to get your K, right? It means you have to write K minus 45 over 9.5 equals to negative 0.248. So to get your K, you have to press negative 0.248 and then times 9.5 equal and then plus 45. So your final answer should be 42.644. So this is how you do it. Okay, finally, this is the final answer. Okay, so my working is not very, it's like very ugly, right? Because I never manage my space wisely. I should have write this like more side here, so I have more space. But I hope you still can, you can see what I write here, okay? So that's how I would do it. Okay, let's continue with question number 10. Let's read the question. A committee consisting of chairman, deputy chairman, secretary, treasurer, and 6 committee members will be appointed from 12 candidates, 7 men and 5 women. How many different ways can a committee can be formed if there are no condition to be complied with? Okay, I think this is under Form 4 or Form 5, the permutation combination chapter, right? Chapter 4. Okay. Form 5. Yeah, Form 5 chapter. It's the P and C chapter. So how do we do this? This one have to use permutation or combination? Committee. Committee is like persatuan. So definitely we are just choosing. It means this is combination. It means we will use C. But how many we are choosing? 1 chairman, 1 deputy, 1 secretary, 1 treasurer. So we choose 4 here and then plus with 6 committee. It means I have to choose 10 members. 10 members to join the committee. But we have to choose from 12 candidates, right? So for number 1, I cannot do 12C10. Cannot. You know why? Because I have to choose for 1 for chairman, 1 for deputy, 1 for secretary, 1 for treasurer. So you cannot straight away do 12C10 like that, right? So what you have to do is, for chairman, it will be 12C1, right? Times with deputy chairman, it will be 11C1, okay? Because total got 12, 12 candidates, 7 men, 5 women. So if no condition means it can be man, it can be woman, it doesn't matter. So out of 12, you choose 1 to join, become chairman, another, and then left with 11, choose another one to become deputy chairman, and then times with, now left with 10, choose another one so that it can become the secretary, and then after you choose from 10 you choose 1, left with 9, choose another one to become treasurer, and then left with 8 members, and the 8 you will choose another 6 just to become the member biasa, and then equal. This is how you do it. You cannot do 12C10 terus, cannot, because if you do 12C10, it means because I have to choose separately this one, because chairman and deputy secretary treasurer, they are different. I have to choose them separately. Okay, I cannot straight away do 12C10. So that is why there is 12 ways to choose this, 11 ways to do it, 10 ways, 9 ways. Okay, that's why you have to do it like this. Okay, just press calculator. 12C1 is just 12, so 12 times 11 times 10 times 9 times 8, 6. Okay, wait, let me press. Okay, my calculator give me 332640. So you just write that, and that would be the A answer. Okay, 332640. So this is the number of ways the committee can be formed, right? If no condition. Okay, second question. Chairman and deputy must be male. Secretary and treasurer must be female. So how to do the second question? I'll just write here. Okay, chairman must be male. So I cannot choose from 12 candidates, because if the chairman must be male, then I have to choose from the 7 men. So from 7 male, I will choose 1 to become chairman. And then deputy also must be male. So out of 6 male now, I choose another one to be male, right? Why 6? Because I already choose 1 to become chairman. So that's why 61. Then secretary must be female. Female total got 5. So I just choose 1 to become secretary, and then another one to become treasurer, but then only left with 4 here already. So and then you times, right? But don't stop here. A lot of you stop here and then you equal. No, not yet. Remember, all the number bawah add together have to be 10. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, 6 is 10. This one, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, only 4. You only choose 4. You still have to choose another 6. Right? So remember, you have to make sure bawah punya jumlah is 10 baru betul. Because you are choosing 10 to join the committee. So you have to choose another 6 from how many? Okay, you start with 12 candidates, right? And then 1 already joined here, 1 already joined here, 1 already joined here, 1 already joined here. We have to minus 4. So you left with 8. You faham? So from the 8, you will choose another 6. Okay, you faham, huh? Because they only say chairman and deputy must be male, and then secretary and treasurer must be female. But they never say the committee member has to be male or female. It means the remaining 6 can be male, it can be female also. That's why you can choose from the remaining total, which is 8. Okay, because they never say the committee member must be male or female. It means it can be male, it can be female. It's just that the chairman, deputy must be male, secretary, treasurer must be female. But the committee member doesn't have to be male or female. That's why we can choose from the remaining total, which is 8C6. And then times lah. This one is not plus, times. So and then you just press calculator. 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 8C6. Okay, the answer is 23520. So just write that down. Then you get 4 marks. Okay, now for question B. Question B I think is related with A, but I'm not sure. So let's just read. All appointed committees will attend the dinner and need to sit at a round table with 10 chairs. So round table. So this is a round table and got 10 chairs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if no condition, how many ways to arrange in a circle for 10 member? So if 10 person want to sit in the 10 chair in a circle, it will be 10 minus 1 factorial. Okay. Okay, let me explain for circular permutation how you do it. So for circular permutation, the formula we use is n minus 1 factorial. Okay. Or you can also say npr divide r. Okay. It means if, for example, if 10, it will be 10 minus 1 factorial lah. Or you can also say 10p10 divide 10. But this and this is the same. If you tekan this and tekan this, you get the same answer. So this is the formula for circular permutation. But you have to remember, if it's a bracelet question, bracelet ataupun a necklace question, then the formula you use will be n minus 1 factorial over 2 and then npr over 2r. This formula is if it's a bracelet necklace, because bracelet necklace, the anti-clockwise arrangement and the clockwise arrangement, we count it as the same. Like it means the direction is not important anymore for bracelet necklace. Okay, but this one is if it's a bracelet necklace lah. So this one I'll just erase it. Okay. Okay lah, I won't erase it lah. I'll just leave it like this. Okay, but this question definitely we won't be using this, right? So we will be using this formula, because it's a circular, right? Okay, so let's see what they want. Calculate the number of ways they can be arranged if the chairman and deputy chairman must sit side by side. So definitely we cannot do it like this. We cannot do it 10 minus 1 factorial, because this one is if no condition. It means 10 person sit in a circle. Okay, but now got condition. Chairman and deputy must sit side by side. So there is 2 chairs now. I have to group them together because they have to sit side by side. One is chairman, one is deputy chairman. So if they group together means I am not arranging 10 object in a circle anymore. I'm arranging 9. Why 9? Because this one grouped together already. So it's like 1, because they have to stick together. When they move, they have to move together. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm arranging 9 things in a circle. So when they're arranging 9 things, it will be 9 minus 1 factorial. Okay, same formula lah. But you have to times with 2 factorial, because the chairman and deputy chairman, they can arrange themselves within this group. Okay, because they can terbalik also. It doesn't have to be chairman. It can be deputy chairman also, right? So this is how you how you do it. So just press 8 factorial times 2 factorial. So what is the answer? Let me press 8p8 times 2p2. Wait, Okay, my calculator give me 80640. Okay, so that's the answer, right? So this is how you do it. Okay, let's continue. Okay, number 11. Let's read the question. Diagram 11 shows a cylinder. Okay, we can see it with a volume of this. Okay, so let's write down the volume of the cylinder. 23 minus 3 square root 5, but then got pi. Okay, and then cm cube. Okay, the cm cube, I won't write it. The radius of cylinder is this. So the radius, they already labeled. So this one is the R, the radius. Find the height of cylinder. Okay, H, and give your answer in a surd form. This one we call it surd form, where A, B, and C are integers. So my answer have to look like this later at the end. So how to do it? Okay, we need to know the formula for volume of cylinder. If we don't know the volume of cylinder formula, we cannot do this question. The volume of cylinder formula is pi r square h. The radius stands for the radius, and then height is just the height, right? So since they give me the volume already, so I will just put it in lah. So pi r square, what is the r? Square root 20 plus 3, and then don't forget to square, and then the height I don't have, just call it h. And then this whole thing can equals to this, bracket 23 minus 3 square root 5 bracket pi. Okay, and now I just solve, I just find h, right? But my answer at the end have to be like this. So now I will just scroll down and just focus on finding this. Okay, first thing first is this pi, I can move it to the other side. So when I move this pi to the other side, it's a times relation. So when you move it, become divide. It means this one and this one can cut, because pi divide pi is just 1. So we just left with this. So this one we can expand. How do we expand square root 20 plus 3 square? Okay, the fast method is you square depan. What is square root 20 square? 20. And then depan darab belakang darab 2. 3 times square root 20 is 3 square root 20. And then darab 2 times 2 is 6 square root 20. And then the final step is square belakang, which is plus 9. Alright? So this is the fast method to expand this. Alright? And this whole thing have to multiply with h equals to 23 minus 3 square root 5. The pi already potong. Okay, how to find what h? H equals 23 minus 3 square root 5 dy this whole thing. Okay, this one 20 plus 9, you can do it quickly. It's 29 plus 6 square root 20. Okay, but square root 20, actually you can simplify. So 23 minus 3 square root 5, 29 plus 6 square root 20 is actually what? Okay, let's do it up here. So square root 20, you can actually change it to what? Square root 4 times 5. And kenapa saya buat macam tu? Why I change it to 4 times 5? Because 4 can square root, which is 2. And then square root 5 cannot square root, just write like this. It means you can actually simplify this, becomes 6 times 2 times square root 5. Okay, square root 20 became 2 square root 5. So now you end up with 23 minus 3 square root 5 over 29 plus 12 square root 5. So this is your H answer. But they got mentioned they want in this form, right? So if you look at my answer and their answer is not even the same form. So how can I make it supaya saya punya jawapan look like this? I have to rationalize. What is rationalize? It means I want to hilangkan square root. I want to make the square root disappear at the bottom. But how do we make it disappear? We have to darab dengan conjugate surd. What will be the conjugate surd for this? It will be 29 minus 12 square root 5, right? If your denominator have plus minus sign, the conjugate surd will be, let's say if it's plus, then the conjugate surd for it will be minus. If it's minus, then it will be plus. And then the number in front and belakang will just be the same, right? So if bawah saya darab dengan ni, atas pun I have to darab dengan benda yang sama. Okay. And I want to explain why I darab dengan ni. It's just because I want to hilangkan square root dekat bawah, right? Okay, now what happens if I darab bawah? So let's draw the panjang punya garisan. Okay, when I darab bawah, it will be like this. Okay, make sure you draw nicely the bracket. So when you darab bawah, it will be 29 times 29, which is, let's press calculator. Okay, my calculator give me 841. So just write it there, 841. And then after you would take 29 times 29, and then 29 times negative 12 square root 5. You don't care because later this one will cancel with this. 29 times negative 12 square root 5, and then 12 square root 5 times 29, when you do it them side by side, they will cancel each other. So you can skip. And then the last step is 12 square root 5 times negative 12 square root 5. Okay, the number hanya boleh darab dengan number. So 12 darab negative 12, negative 144. And then square root hanya boleh darab dengan square root. Square root times 5, square root 5 times square root 5 is 5. Alright? So I hope you still remember how to do the punya expansion. Okay, now we buat yang atas. Okay, yang atas you have to do it like just now lah. 23 times 29. Let's press calculator. 667. 667. So just write it 667. And then 23 times negative 12 square root of 5. Remember, the number can only times with number. So the 23 cannot times 5. It can only times 12. So 23 times 12, I get 276. So the answer here will be negative 276 square root 5. Okay. And then the next step will be negative 3 square root 5 times 29. So it will be negative. You just press 3 times 29. Okay. So what you get? 87. And don't forget to write the square root 5. So 87 square root 5. And then finally, it's negative 3 square root 5 times negative 12 square root 5. Remember, number can only times with number. Square root can only times with square root. So negative 3 times negative 12, positive 36. And then square root times with square root. Square root 5 times square root 5, which is just 5. Right? And then set already lah. Now you just press bawah 841 minus 144 times 5. So you get 121. So bawah I get 121. And then atas, the negative 276 square root of 5 and 87 square root of 5, you can do it together. Okay, negative 276 square root 5 minus 87 square root 5 is the same as negative 276a minus 87a. This square root 5 and square root 5, you can just temporarily change to a. So what you do now, you can just press negative 276 minus 87. So what is negative 276 minus 87? You will get negative 363a. But don't write negative 363a lah. You write negative 363 square root 5. Okay, because the a is actually square root 5. And then what about the 667 and then the 36 times 5? You press 667 plus 36 times 5. So you get 847. Right? So this is the answer, but I can simplify this further. How to simplify? Can you see this one? Bawah ada satu term. So if bawah ada satu term, we can separate it like this. Okay. So when we separate it like this, it will become what? It will become 847 over 120 minus 363 third 5 over 120. And now you can press calculator and simplify this. What is 847 divide 121? 120 or 121? Okay, this one I write wrong, right? It's not 120, it's 121. You careless mistake. Let me press one more time. 841 minus 144. Okay, this one is 121. Sorry. When you press 841 minus 144, it's 121. Okay. So 121. This one is 121. This one 121. Okay, let's press one more time. 847 divide 121. Oh, 847 divide 121. Okay, the calculator give me 7. So this one is 7. And then 363 and 121 can divide also. Just press. Okay, my calculator give me 3. So the answer is 7 minus 3. This one cut already. And then square root 5. So this is my height. But let's write cm. Okay, because it's height, right? Okay, and the height is in cm. Yeah. Okay, so they want me to give the answer in this form, right? A plus b square root c. And you can see my answer is really in this form. A plus b square root c. Right? So it means this is the final answer. Okay. Sudah siap. Okay, let's do number 12. This is Form 4 chapter also. I think it's chapter 5. It's called progression. Janjang. Okay, let's read the question. If A is the first term and D is the common difference of an arithmetic progression, show that the sum of first n term of progression is this. So they actually want me to prove the formula. They want me to derive this formula. Okay, so if they want you to show this formula means you have to prove the formula. Ataupun you have to derive the formula. So how can you prove this formula? Okay, if you look at this formula, it's one of the formula that you have to hafal. Ataupun one of the formula that you belajar in this chapter, right? Is the SN formula. But they want you to prove the formula, right? So how do you prove it? Okay, if you want to prove this formula, you actually need the TN formula, right? What is the TN formula for arithmetic? A plus n minus 1D. Do you remember this? This is the TN formula and this is the SN formula, right? But this one they want me to prove, right? Okay, how will I prove it? Okay, the A will be the first term, D will be the common difference. So when we want to find SN, right? It means I'm taking the what? I'm taking the T1 plus with the T2 plus with the T3 and then plus with the keep going until when? Until Tn, right? Do you agree? Because if I want S7, it means I will take T1 plus T2 plus T3 until T7. If I want S9, it will be T1 plus T2 until T9, like that, right? So the number of terms here depend on depend on the n here, right? So wait, Okay. So now what I do is I'll write Sn, but now I'll use the Tn formula. So what is T1? T1 will be A. Okay. Ataupun you can say A plus 0D because 1 minus 1 is 0, which is just 0. So that's why I never write. So A. And then plus we write T2. T2, let's use the formula A plus N minus 1D. It means A plus 2 minus 1, which is D. Okay, it means T2 is actually what? The first term plus D. And then the third term is actually A plus D again. So A plus 2D like that, right? It means every time you go here, you plus D. Every time you go here, plus D. That's why it will be A and then A plus D, A plus 2D, and then it keeps going, right? So that's the idea lah. Okay, so like that. And then you will keep going. You will keep going until when? Until the last term, which is Tn. And the Tn, we call it what? A plus n minus 1d, because the Tn formula is already written here. Okay, but I want to ask you, what is the term before Tn? What is the term before Tn? It will be Tn minus 1, right? It will be Tn minus 1. So what would be the Tn minus 1 formula? Let's write it here. So let's erase. Okay, so you will keep going until, okay, the last two term is Tn minus 1. So what would be the formula if for A plus N minus 1D? So it will be A plus N minus 1. But your N is now N minus 1. So what is N minus 1 minus 1? So it will be N minus 2D like that. And then finally, the last term only, it becomes A plus N minus 1D. Okay, okay, I want to use red color to put the bracket to make it like more clear. So this is the first bracket, this one is the second one, this is the T2, this one is the T3, this one is the T4, no, the last second term, the second last term, this one, and this one is the last term. Okay, I think this one I should use big bracket also. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's do it nicely. So let's just use big bracket for everyone. So big bracket, okay, because I want to group them nicely like this. Okay, now I want to do something different. I will do Sn, but this one, okay, when I take Sn means I will take T1 plus T2 until the last term, right? But I can also write it differently. I can also start from the last term. It means I can also start from the last term, which is Tn. So I can actually start from what? I can also start from A plus N minus 1D, right? Okay, it's the same thing. It's just that I start from the back, right? And then plus with this second last term will be my second term now. It will be A plus N minus 2D. And then keep going until my second term, A plus D, will now be my last two term, A plus D, and then A, right? And same thing, I want to use bracket. So to group everything nicely like this, okay? So now, the question here is, I write Sn two different ways, right? So what I will do now is actually I will call this equation 1 and I will call this equation 2 and I will combine these two equations. I will take equation 1 plus equation 2. All right. It means I will plus them like this. Okay, like this, plus. Okay. But when I plus them, my Sn have to plus with Sn also. So it becomes 2Sn. Right? It becomes 2Sn. And then what happens here is I will plus this first bracket with my first bracket here. So what is A plus N minus 1D? So A plus A, you will get 2A. So I'll just write 2A plus N minus 1D. This is what happens when you take this bracket plus with this bracket. And then plus with the next one is A plus D. Okay, A plus D plus with this, right? So what is A plus A? You will get 2A also. And then 1D plus N minus 2D. Okay, 1D plus N minus 2D. So 1D plus N minus 2D. What happens when you expand the N minus 2D? You will get ND minus 2D. And we all know 1D minus 2D, you will end up with negative D. It means you will get ND minus D, right? And look at this. What happens when you expand this bracket? N minus 1D, when you expand, what happens? You will get this, which is the same as this, ND minus D. It means this is N minus 1D. Okay, understand? So this one I erase. And then what is the next one? What if the next one also I plus together? So just now is this one plus with this one, and then this one plus with this one, and then now is this one plus this one, and then this one plus this one, right? Okay, what happens when I take this one plus this one? It will be A plus A, which is 2A, and then n minus 2d plus 1d. If you try to work this out, you try to do it this, you will also get n minus 1d. Let me show you quickly. N minus 2d, it means nd minus 2d, and then plus 1d means plus d. So what happens if you take negative 2d plus d, you get nd plus nd, and then negative 2 plus 1, negative 2d plus 1 is just negative d, which is exactly same with this, right? N minus 1d, when you expand, you get nd minus d, means this is also n minus 1d lah. Okay, and then finally we add the last term, which is this one plus this one. So a plus a, 2a, and then n minus 1d. So can you see they are the same all the way, right? All the way. It just keeps going on and on, right? Okay, actually here there should be a dot dot dots. Okay, here the other dot 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 dot. Okay, so it means when I group them up like this, I will just get 2a plus n minus 1d, 2a plus n minus 1d, just keep going, right? Okay, now my question to you is, how many red bracket do you think there is? So these are the red color bracket. So how many times do you think this thing will appear? This 2a plus n minus this red color bracket, how many times do you think there will be? It depends on your n, right? Because look carefully, when I group them up like this, 1 bracket, 2 bracket, 3 bracket, 4 bracket, 5, it means it depends on how it depends on your n, right? So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So if your n is 5, of course there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be depending on it means there's only 5 red color bracket here. And if there's 5 red color bracket, here also you have 5, right? It means it's depending on how many, depending on your n value, right? So my question to you is, how many red color bracket there is here? There will be n times, n number of this thing. So it means there will be n times with 2a plus n minus 1d. So there will be n times of 2a plus n minus 1d in this progression, in this series, okay, in this whole thing. So now this one is still 2sn. So now I can actually find my sn, which is I just divide by 2. So when I divide by 2, I will get n over 2 big bracket 2a plus n minus 1d. And this one, this formula is the same with this, right? So this is how you prove this formula, okay? And then you can write the word shown here, because they want me to show, right? So make sure you remember how you show this formula. I remember in the trial 2022, but I don't know, I forgot which state. For trial 2022, there's also a few state paper that ask us to show this formula. Okay, they also ask to show the geometric one. The geometric SN formula is like this: A1 minus R power N over 1 minus R. Also have this one. This one, but this one it come out in trial 2022 lah. Okay, so make sure you know how to prove these formulas lah. So this is how you prove the sum of first n term for arithmetic progression formula. Okay, I want to give you some extra information. Okay, this one extra one. Okay, there's another SN formula in arithmetic, is like this: n over 2 a plus l. Okay, this is one of another formula that you have to hafal dalam you punya chapter ni lah. And I want to teach you how to prove this formula also. Okay, but it's very easy. Okay, it's very easy. So how do you prove this formula? Okay, let me tell you. This formula is also for SN. Okay, so how do we prove this formula? It's very simple. You will do exactly same like this. You will do exactly same like this. But after you reach here, you will write n over 2. The 2a you will not write 2a. You will write a plus a like this, n minus 1d. Okay, and did you notice your 2a is actually same as a plus a, right? So it's the same thing. I just write it differently. Okay, and why I want to write it like this, why I want to write it differently, because look at this. The a, I leave it. Look at this: a plus n minus 1d. What is this? Isn't this the formula for Tn, right? So it means it's actually a plus Tn here, right? And guess what? Tn is the last term. Tn is the last term in your series. So it means you can actually just write L here. And don't forget to write L is actually the last term, right? So this is how you prove the other SN formula in arithmetic progression. Because in arithmetic, there's 2 SN formula. Okay, I hope you know that. But if the question want you to prove this formula, you will stop until here lah. Until here, you stop already. Okay, but if they want you to prove this one, You will also do the same way, but you will tambah sikit, right? You will tambah this one, okay? But this one I will just cross it out. So it means this one no need, okay? Because this question they only ask us to prove this, okay? So this is how you do it. Okay lah, I think can already. So let's continue with question B. Okay, question B, I'll do it here. Okay, given an arithmetic progression 5, 9, 13, 17, find the sum of first n term. I think I can find, this is an arithmetic progression. So straight away get your A and D. When they give you progression, straight away can find your AD. What is your A? 5. What is your D? 9 minus 5, which is 4. You can also take 13 minus 9. You will get the same thing. They want to find sum of first n terms. It means Sn lah. But which formula you will use? Okay, of course, the arithmetic progression punya formula, which is this one lah. All right. So what is the formula? N over 2. But we don't have the n. So just write n over 2 because we don't have. It means later your answer will be in terms of n. And then big bracket 2a. The a is 5 and then plus n minus 1. But the n I don't have. So just put n only. And then times with d. So times with 4. And then close bracket. And then now we just simplify this. So n over 2. 2 times 5 is 10. So it will be 10. And then 4 times n minus 1, which is just 4n minus 4. And then you will end up with n over 2. 10 minus 4 is 6 plus 4n. And then now you have to take 6 times n, which is 6n, divide 2 is 3n. 4n times n, 4n squared, divide 2 is 2n squared. So this is the answer for B. Okay. Okay, finally, for C, what they want? Solve the equation 5 plus 9 plus 13 plus 7, blah, 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 until x. Okay. So how do we solve? Means I want to find x. So how do we do this? Okay, let's make it smaller. Okay, like this. Okay, now we try to do this question. I want to find x now. Okay, if you look at this, all these terms is the same terms as my progression just now for my B, which is 5 plus 9 plus 13 plus 17. It's just that now I plus them together, right? So actually what I'm doing here is Sn equals to 2277, right? And this will be my T1, my T2, T3, T4 until my Tn. It means my Tn is actually the x, all right? But I don't know the n. Okay, I don't know x is which term, but I know everything I add together, the Sn is 2277. And guess what? The Sn formula, I don't have to do it again. I can straight away use this 3n plus 2n squared. The reason why I can straight away use this is because it's the same progression with B. It's the same progression. You see, 5, 9, 13, 17. So the A and D is the same. That is why I can use back the same formula. So now can I find n? Yes. How to find n? This is got square. Got square means quadratic. So quadratic, you have to move everything one side equals 0. So 2277 become minus 2277 equals 0. And then now I have to factorize this lah. So let's factorize. Use calculator. So what's the A? 2. What's the B? 3. What's the C? Negative 2277. Okay, my calculator give me 33. So my n is 33. And then the other answer is negative 69 over 2. So how to write atas? Bracket, bracket equals 0. If n is 33, means n have to write minus 33. If n is negative 69 over 2, means you have to write n plus 69. The 2 have to write in front. Okay, but the n here, I will write rejected. Remember this, in progression, n cannot have fraction, cannot have decimal one, because n is like the number. So number means it's either the first term, second term, third term. There's no negative one. There's no negative 3 term, no such thing. Okay, and also the n cannot have fraction, decimal. Okay, so I repeat one more time. N cannot have fraction, cannot have decimal, cannot have negative. Okay, okay, now I already know my n is 33, but this is not the answer because they want to find x. So the 33 is not the x answer. The 33 is just the n answer. So to find x, I still have to find T33 because now I know my n is 33. So now to find x, I have to use the Tn formula, which is a plus n minus 1d. The a is 5. So 5 plus n minus 1, 33 minus 1 is just 32, times with d, the d is 4, right? And then I press this whole thing, then only I get 5 plus 32 times 4 is 133, right? So the final answer is 133. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay, let's continue. Bahagian B. So bahagian B, they want me to jawab 2 soalan sahaja dari bahagian ni. And I think they will give me 3 questions. 13, 14, 15, but I only choose 2, right? But I will do all of it. Okay, but I'll do all of it. But in exam, you don't do all of it lah, because I'm just doing this video for revision purpose. So of course, I will do all of it. But during exam, you just choose 2. Okay, this question is a trigo question. So let's read the question. Given that cos alpha plus beta equals 1 over 4, this is the information that we will use later. And then sine alpha, sine beta is 1 over 2. Okay, it's another information. Find value of each of the following: cos alpha, cos beta, and the second question, cos alpha minus beta. Okay, how do we find cos alpha, cos beta? Okay, let's write down the information first. The information now here now is what? Okay, do I have any space here? Okay, I think I have to use down here. Okay, so cos alpha plus beta equals 1 over 4, comma, and then sine alpha sine beta equals 1 over 2. Okay, they want me to find cos alpha, cos beta, and which formula I will use for this question. Okay, I'll write down the formula for you first. Then only I will show you which I will show you in the formula. I will show you in the first page, because in the first page they got give you the formula, right? So I will tell you which formula I will use. I will use the addition angle cos alpha plus beta. This one we can change to cos alpha cos beta minus sine alpha sine beta, right? I said you have to memorize all the formula, right, in my class. So this is the formula I will use. Okay, let me just show you where this formula. This one is not AB lah. This one is alpha beta. Okay, sine alpha sine beta. Of course, if this one is AB, then this one is AB lah. But this one is alpha beta. Okay, let me show you the which formula. Okay, it's given in the exam one, right? So, but I say in my class, even it's given, you have to follow also. So this is the formula. Okay, so cos A plus minus B is cos A cos B minus plus sin A sin B. So I actually made a mistake just now. I shouldn't write plus, right? I should write minus. Sorry. So it means that yeah, I read it correctly. I read it correctly. Yeah. Plus, if this one is plus, this one have to be minus. Yeah. That is why if you look at the formula just now, here is plus minus, here is minus plus. It means if this one is plus, this one is minus. If this one is minus, this one is plus. That's what it means. Okay. So I actually write it correctly. Okay lah, but let's put the plus minus sign also. Okay, so this is the formula I will use to solve this question. Okay, they got mentioned just now. Cos alpha plus beta equals 1 over 4. So can we use this formula? Cos alpha plus beta is actually what? Cos alpha cos beta minus or plus? Minus. Sine alpha sine beta equals 1 over 4. Because they say cos alpha plus beta equals 1 over 4, right? And then now cos alpha cos beta I want to find, right? They want me to find this, right? And then what about the sine alpha sine beta? Well, they give me already is 1 over 2, so just sub it in. So now you can find your cos alpha cos beta. You just press 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2, right? So what is 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2? Okay, my calculator give me 3 over 4. So that's the answer. Okay, and you can stop here already. You don't have to pinda cos, no need already. They just want you to stop here. They want you to find cos alpha cos beta, so this is the answer. Okay. Okay, second question. Second question, they want me to find cos alpha minus beta. I think I will use back the same formula, which is this formula, right? But this time it's a minus. So later here I have to write plus already, right? Because when here is minus, here you have to equate bawah also but plus. Okay, so the formula is cos alpha cos beta, and then plus sine alpha sine beta, right? Okay, how to solve this? Cos alpha cos beta, I already know the value. Cos alpha cos beta value is 3 over 4. So this one just put it in 3 over 4. And then sine alpha sine beta, I also have it already. It's here 1 over 2. So just sub it in 1 over 2 and then just press calculator. 3 divided 4 plus 1 divided 2. Okay, my calculator give me 5 over 4. So that's the answer. Okay, you get 4 marks. Okay, now for B question. Okay, let's scroll it down a bit. Okay, I'll do my B here. So they want me to solve the equation 4 sine theta equals to what? 4 sine theta equals to square root 2 sec theta. And then they want me to solve the equation for all the angles between 0 and 360. So they want you to solve. Means this is a solve question. It means they want you to cari theta, right? So for this type of question, what you have to do? You have to solve biasa, and then later you have to check whether it's a normal case or special case. Normal case means normal case use calculator, but special case is when you sine cos equals to 0, 1, -1, and then tangent is when the tangent special case is 0. Okay, never mind. I'll just show you how I do it first. Okay, this one is sine, but this one is sec. So they are not the same. So can I make them the same? No, because this one is sine, this one is sec. Sec you can change to what? 1 over cos. It means you will become square root 2 bracket 1 over cos theta. But this square root 2 have to times, right? And when you times atas saja. So I can straight away write fast, it will become square root 2 over sec theta over cos theta. right? And then this one is still 4 sine theta. But it's very hard to solve when you have two different trigo in the equation. So what I will do is I will move this up first so that dia tak ada fraction. So it becomes 4 sine theta cos theta equals to square root 2. Okay. Okay. After I do until here, suddenly one formula comes in. I suddenly think apa? I suddenly remember one formula. Do you remember the formula for double angle? Formula for double angle. Sine 2 theta. Okay, where should I write it? Okay, I'll just write it up here. So there's one formula in double angle, is the sine 2 theta, and the formula is 2 sine theta cos theta. Okay, let me show you in the formula. They got give one, this one, right? But actually you have to memorize one, because even if they give also this one sine 2a 2 sine a cos a. So let's go back, right? So why you have to memorize the formula even though the exam got give? Because if you don't memorize this, can you do this question? You cannot, right? You don't even know which formula to use. That's why I ask you to memorize, so that you can take it out whenever you want. When you memorize it, it's very easy, because when you nampak soalan, you will, how to say, when you already hafal, you can just think about which formula to use. All right. But if you tak hafal, you still have to flip to the page, and it will distract you from, how to say, just memorize it lah. Just memorize it so that you can take it out whenever you want. Okay, that's why I always tell you to memorize this formula. Okay, if you look at this one is 4 sine theta cos theta. This one is 2 sine theta cos theta. So if I can somehow make this into 2 sine theta cos theta, then I can change it, the whole thing, to sine 2 theta. So how can I make it like that? Is I divide by 2. The whole thing I divide 2. It means this one will become 2 sine theta cos theta, and then this one I become 2 square root 2 over 2. Sorry. Okay, square root 2 divide 2. Means the whole thing I divide 2. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because I want it to change this whole thing to 2 sine theta. So now this 2 sine theta becomes what? 2 sine theta cos theta, it becomes sine 2 theta equals to square root 2 over 2. Now you can solve for sine already. That's why. Okay. Okay. For student that ask me, hey sir, why don't you divide by 4? Okay, if I divide 4, I will end up with sine theta cos theta, and I don't want sine theta, I want 2 sine theta cos theta, because I want to change to sine 2 theta. That's why. Okay, so this is the correct way to do it. Okay, how can I find sine now? I have to pindah sine, it will become sine inverse. So it will be shift sine square root 2 divide 2. I can quickly just press in the calculator, 0.7071. So just press so 0.7071, and don't forget, now you will press the shift sign 0.7071. So what happens when you shift sign answer? I will get 45. But is this your final answer? No, I mentioned many times in class already, this is not the final answer. This one we call it RA. What is RA? Reference angle. What is reference angle? Reference angle is the angle towards X. Angle towards X axis ataupun angle in quadrant 1. So how do we get the real angle? We have to consider sine positive. So add sugar to coffee. So which is sine positive? Quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. It means I have to convert the reference angle 45 to quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. And don't forget, here you have to write 2 theta. Okay? Because this one is 2 theta, this one 2 theta also. So the first quadrant answer is 45. Second quadrant, how to convert first quadrant to second quadrant? Just take 180 minus. Okay? So what is 180 minus 45? 135. And since it's 2 theta, it means 2 pusingan. So 2 pusingan means what I have to do with all my answer. It means all my answer I have to plus 360. If it's 2 theta, 45 plus 360, 405. 135 plus 360, 495. Right? And then now the only thing left to do here is just take every value here, divide by 2. 45 divided by 2, 22.5 degrees. 135 divided by 2, 67.5 degrees. 405 degree divide 2, 202.5. And then 495 divide 2, 247.5. Okay. You can also write in degree minute. If you write in degree minute, is 22 degree 30 minute, 67 degree 30 minute, and so on. Can also. All right. So these are the answers. Okay. Wait, betul lah saya buat. Okay, yeah, correct. Okay, now for question C, what they want? Question C, 1 mark only. In the answer space below, label the angle 180 minus P if the reference angle is P. What is reference angle? Well, I just told you. Just now, baru saya cakap, what is reference angle? I mentioned it when I do this question, right? When I do question B, I already mentioned reference angle is angle towards X. So the angle towards X is P. They want me to label this angle in the answer space. So let's go. Okay, the angle is 180 minus P. The reference angle is P. So let's go to the answer space. Okay, this one, right? Okay, I think the P is here, right? Because angle towards X. So the 180 minus P will be here, lah, right? So this is the 180 minus P. Okay, it means this is a quadrant 2 angle. That is why the reference angle is 180 minus P. Okay, the reference angle is P, but the real angle is 180 minus P. That's why it's quadrant 2. Okay, when it's quadrant 2, it will have this relationship 180 minus. Okay, but I don't think you can label it like this, because if you label it like this, later you will not get any marks. So I think you will just label the 180 minus P angle, which is here. So I think labeling it like this is good enough already. Okay, this one is the reference angle. So let's see what they want. Label the angle 100. So they only want me to label this, okay, not the reference angle. So the reference angle P is here, right? But they only want me to label the real angle, which is 180 minus P. So this is the answer. Okay, so you get 1 mark for this. All right. Okay, let's continue with number 14A. Okay, let's read the question. Given that the straight line y equals 0 is tangent. Okay, tangent means what? Touches 1 point. Okay, y equals 0 is tangent line to this curve where h and k are constant. Express h in terms of k. Okay, I think this is under quadratic chapter, form 4 chapter 2. So what you have to do now, under chapter 2, there is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3. And I can tell you straight away, this is under 2.2 type of roots. Okay, why I cakap macam tu? Because if they mention tangent, the keyword here is what? Tangent means what? Two equal roots. Two equal roots. Ataupun one root. One root ataupun two equal roots. So if it's two equal real roots, what we have to do? We have to take b square minus 4ac equals 0. The keyword here is tangent. That's why it touches 1 point. But there is two equation here. So what I should do? I should do simultaneous. Remember, whenever you do this type of question, when it's chapter 2, we don't care whether they touch or no touch. If they give you two equation, one straight line, one curve, you straight away do simultaneous. After you do simultaneous, then only you make susun jadi general form, then only you use this formula. Okay. So for example, if I give you another question where they give you equation of straight line, let's say y equals x plus 3, and then this one they give you equation of curve, you will also do simultaneous. Okay, it's always like that. Like whenever they give you satu straight line, satu curve, you will do simultaneous straight away. Okay, doesn't matter touch or no touch, you just do simultaneous. All right, even if that they never touch also, you will still do simultaneous. After do simultaneous, then only you do b square minus 4ac bigger 0 kalau dia two different roots, equal 0 kalau dia touches 1 point, kalau does not touch, then b square minus 4ac is smaller than 0. Right, but the first step is always just to do simultaneous. Okay, but let me tell you something. Y equals 0 is actually the x-axis. Right, y equals 0 is actually the x-axis. Right, think about it. This is y, this is x. Right, so x-axis is this line. Right, so this line punya equation is y equals 0 lah, because it cuts the y-axis at 0. Right, so actually what they are saying is this curve touches the x-axis at 1 point. It means satu x-intercept saja lah. It means only have one x-intercept. It means two equal roots lah. Two equal roots. That's why you do b square minus 4ac equals 0. But first you will do simultaneous. But I still want you to know that sometimes they might not give you the x-axis here. They will give you other straight line. But if they give you other straight line, how you do it? You do simultaneous. You do simultaneous, and then baru you buat b square minus 4ac. Depending on whether they say 2 points or 1 point, then you buat lah. Kalau 2 point bigger 0 tangent, kalau 1 point equals 0, kalau does not touch smaller 0. Okay, what is the first step here? Do simultaneous. So y equals to 0. Y means fx. So it means fx, the whole thing equals 0. So now when you do simultaneous, it will become 2x squared plus bracket h minus 1x plus 2k squared. The whole thing is y, right? And then the whole thing I want to ganti with 0 like this. And let's see, is this general form? Yes, the a is 2, the b is h minus 1, the c is 2k squared. Please don't tell me, this one got square, have to put the pan. No. K is not the variable. K is the what do you call it? The constant. So this one, even if it's k power 1 million also, it will stay at the back, right? Because the variable now is x. So now you can do the b square minus 4ac equals 0. Kenapa saya buat equals 0? Sebab tangent. Tangent means touches 1 point, right? So now you Okay, what they want? H in terms of K. So later have to make the H single. So let's put in the B and the A and the C. Okay, the B is H minus 1, the A is 2, the K is 2K squared. And now I want to find H, right? So should we expand this? Actually, if you don't expand, it's better. Okay, I will tell you later why. It's better to just leave it like this, right? Okay, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times 2 is negative 16K squared equals 0. And then this one, don't expand it. And then 16K square move here, become positive. And then square becomes square root. So H minus 1 equals to square root, the whole thing, 16K squared. It means what happens when you square root 16? You get, I have to write plus minus. So you get plus minus 4. And then K square, when you square root, you just K, left with K. Because when square root and square, you can cut each other, they can, how to say, cancel. They can cut, right? So square root and square, cut, left with K. And then here is H minus 1. So now it be H equals to negative 1. When you move there, it becomes what? Plus minus 4K, and then minus 1 jadi plus 1. But if you don't like the 1, you can also write in front, right? Okay, so I'll write in front. So this is your H answer, 1 plus minus 4K. Okay, saya nak tanya you, kenapa I never expand this? Okay, actually, if you expand can also. If you expand, you'll get what? H square minus 2H plus 1, right? That is why I don't want to expand, because later I want to find H. So it's better to not expand actually, because if you want to find H means you want your H to be single. If I expand it, my H is not single anymore. That's why I never expand it, right? So I just do it like this, right? So yeah, because I want to find H, right? So it's better to make your H single, and then later the square and 1 just pindah to the other side, right? Okay, that's how you get the 2 marks. Now we do question B. I'll do it here. Okay, let's read the question. Given that the quadratic function fx equals to this is defined in this domain, right? So let's do it. Fx equals to equation, let's write down 2x squared plus 4x plus 30. And then they say this is the domain. Domain means they want you to, it's like a range lah, range for x-axis. Okay, question number 1. By using completing the square method, express fx in vertex form and state the turning point of fx. So how do you state turning point? Well, if you convert to vertex form, then you can take out your turning point, right? So now we just change to vertex form lah. Okay, how do we convert from general form to vertex form? We have to do completing the square. Okay, CTS, completing the square. And when we do completing the square, the most important step is your A must be positive 1. So your A is not positive 1 now, so you have to divide negative 2, which is x squared, divide negative 2 is negative 2x, 30 divided negative 2 is negative 15. And don't forget, the negative 2 cannot hilang. You have to write in front like this, and then put bracket. And then now it will be negative 2 big bracket. Okay, now you can do completing the square. When you do completing the square, what you have to write? X squared minus 2x, you have to leave an empty space here, and then minus 15, and then leave another empty space here. What you have to write here and here? Plus bracket square minus bracket square. And what you have to write inside the bracket? B over 2. And what is your B? Look, tengok sebelah sini. So what is the B? Negative 2. So negative 2 over 2, negative 2 over 2. Please don't go and tengok atas sini. If you tengok atas sini, salah. Alright? You cannot tengok sini because the A is not negative 1 yet. So whenever I teach, I always tell students, tengok sebelah. Right? Tengok beside. So you don't put in the wrong value. Okay, now it will be negative 2 big bracket. This big bracket very important, sangat penting. So don't forget to write the big bracket. And then now what you do is you will cover this middle one. You will cover the middle number. You will just focus on this and this, right? So x square, it means what? X tulis dalam, square tulis luar. Negative 2 divide 2 square, it means what? Negative 2 divide 2 tulis dalam, square tulis luar. Okay, what is 2 divide 2? Get 1, right? But the square no need to square. The square I just write outside, right? And then here is minus 15, right? So minus 15, and then minus, this one also minus, and then negative 2 divide 2 is negative 1, but this one you cannot square. So what is negative 1 square? Positive 1, and then close big bracket. Okay, even though it's positive 1, but I still write minus because there's one more minus outside the bracket. Okay, okay, now what? Now, the negative 15 minus 1 boleh buat. So, negative 2, big bracket, still have to write x minus 1 squared. Negative 15 minus 1 is negative 16. Okay, now you don't stop here. Hey, remember, vertex form cannot have the big bracket one. So, what you have to do is you have to take the negative 2, you times inside. So, when you times inside, you will get negative 2x minus 1 squared. And then negative 2 times negative 16 is positive 32. The negative 2, when you times inside, it cannot go inside the bracket because this bracket got square. So the negative 2 cannot go in. So how do you times it? You just write in front like this. It means nothing will happen to the bracket. You just put the negative 2 in front. And then the 16, the negative 16, when you times negative 2, it becomes positive 32. All right? Okay, so this is the vertex form. Okay, saya sudah berjaya tukar jadi vertex form. So I already complete what the question want me to do, and then they say state the turning point also. Okay, so let's write down the turning point lah. Okay, what is the turning point? Okay, if we look at the vertex form look like this: a bracket x plus p square plus q. Right? The a will tell you the shape minimum or maximum. P will tell you the x coordinate. Q will tell you the y coordinate. So the negative one, when you take out, it will become positive one. The 32, when you take out, it will still be 32. Right? When you take out this one, you have to tukar tanda, remember that. So this is your turning point. But if I ask you this one minimum or maximum, you will look at the number in front here, which is -2. -2 means U shape or N shape? N shape, right? Because it's negative. If the A is negative, means N shape means the shape is like this. It means this is a maximum point, right? So this 132 is actually the maximum point of the curve. So I'll put a bracket here and write max. Okay, because the A is negative, so it's like N shape. Okay, done already. Now we can do question number 2. Question number 2, they say express fx in the intercept form and hence sketch the graph of fx. So they want me to express intercept form and also want me to sketch. Okay, is there any space here? Okay, I think I will do the second question here. Okay, express in intercept form. Okay, let's write down the equation for fx first. So fx equals to -2x squared plus 4x plus 30. Okay, before I start, I just want to tell you the intercept form will look like this. A and then x minus b, x minus c, like this. Okay, it's not necessarily minus lah. Sometimes it can be plus also. But intercept form is look like this. A, x minus b, x minus c, where b is the x-intercept. B is the x-intercept and C is also the x-intercept. Okay, so this is how the intercept form looks like, right? So how do we convert the general form to intercept form? Very easy. First of all, take out the A, which is -2, right? And then you're left with x squared, or you can just salin from here, minus 2x minus 15. And then now you write -2, and then this one, you press calculator. Press calculator, you will get 2 answers here, right? So let's press and see what I get. Okay, my A is 1, my B is -2, my C is -15. My calculator give me 5 and -3. 5 and -3. But if I want to write inside the bracket, I have to change the sign. So +5 become -5, -3 become +3. Right? And this one you have to you can erase. Because they want intercept form. Intercept form means look like this. So done already. This one is the intercept form. Okay? And please tell me what is the x-intercept? 5 and -3. 5 and -3. Okay? Okay, now they want me to sketch the graph of fx. So I think when you sketch, you will use all the information you have here to sketch, right? So how do you sketch it? Okay, in order to sketch graph, you have to follow some step, right? So I'll write down the step here. So what is the step number 1 if you want to sketch graph? First, if you have to find the turning point, right? It can be minimum, it can be maximum, right? Could be minimum, could be maximum. Depends on the question. Second step is find the important points, right? What are the important points? X-intercept, Y-intercept, and also check the range. Check the domain range, the range of domain, right? Because sometimes if they got give you range for the domain, means you have to find the starting point and the ending the where the point starts, where and then where it ends. If they got give you domain range lah, then only we have to find some extra points. Okay, and then step 3 is done already lah. Yeah, step 3 is just to sketch, right? After you find all these points, then you can sketch already. So what I will do is I will draw a table out. Okay, I'll draw a table. Okay, so I'll just draw a table here. Okay, this one just ignore this. All right, so now I will buat satu column. This column is for the turning point, and then the next column is for the x-intercept. Okay, I already know got 2 x-intercept. Okay, but it's okay. I can just write both here, and then next is for the y-intercept. And then the other bagi domain range for this question. Let's check. If they never give, we can ignore this step. Check domain range. Actually, if you look at the question, they got give you a range here, right? So I think I have to follow this range, -3, 7. So I think I need 2 more column. One is for when the x is -3, and then one is for when the x is 7. Okay. So yeah, these are the column I can add. And then let's just close the table nicely. Okay, and then now we can find our points. So this is my x, this is my y. Okay, y and fx is the same thing. You can write y also here. Okay, The first point is the turning point, which I already find. I don't even have to do it again. 132. So this one is the turning point. So I'll just write a bracket here. I just write maximum. Okay, because it's the turning point. All right, it's the maximum point. Next point, the important point is x-intercept. X-intercept is when you ganti y0, and then this one is when you x0. Right? So what you do now is the x-intercept, y-intercept, but I already find it. The x-intercept is 5 and -3. So when I ganti y0, I get -3 and 5. There's two x-intercept. And then what about when y0? Well, I can just do it quickly. When y0, okay, I'll just do it here lah. I'll do it fast. When y equals 0 ataupun fx equals 0 is the same thing. So this whole thing, eh, no, not when y equals 0, when x equals 0, sorry, when x equals 0, because I want to find this so x equals 0, so it becomes f0 equals to -2x squared plus 4x plus 30. This one you don't need calculator. You see also, you know it's 30, right? Because this is 0 squared 0 0 0 30. So this, the y-intercept is 30, right? And then what is the next 2 points? They got give you range. Remember, they got give you range. They want you to draw from -3 to 7. So this will be the starting point, and then this is the ending point. So -3, 7. So it means I have to tambah dua lagi point where the x is -3 and 7. Okay, but if one day the soalan tak bagi range macam ni, then you don't have to find these 2 points. If dia tak bagi but this one ada, so saya kena cari. So what is f -3? Just sub it in lah. Same thing, -2 bracket square plus 4 bracket plus 30. But this time you put -3, and then press calculator. And then the last one is f7. Okay, you ganti x with 7. So it'll be -2x squared plus 4x plus 30. And then put 7, 7. Okay, time to press calculator. So just press -2 open bracket, -3 close bracket square plus 4 bracket -3 close bracket plus 30. Okay, my calculator give me 0. Okay, it means my point is -3, 0, right? But if you look at this -3, 0 and this -3, 0 is the same. It's the same. It means my starting point is actually an x-intercept. You understand? It means I can cancel off this point because -3, 0 is kebetulan sama with this x-intercept point. It means my starting later is x-intercept. That's why this point I don't have to plot already because this point and this point is the same, right? So I just have to do the f7. Okay, f7. This one is the ending point, the last point. So -2 bracket 7. Let's press square plus 4 7 and then plus 30. -40. Right. So this one is -40, and then it means the final point, the last point is 7 -40. Okay. So I repeat one more time. This first one is the turning point. This one is the x-intercept. Okay, because y equals 0 This one is the y-intercept because x equals 0. This one is the starting point. By why I cut it? Because the starting point is same with the x-intercept point. It means the starting point is actually the x-intercept, right? That's why you don't have. It means the same point. You how to say? There's two points at the same place, right? That's why you just cancel it and then the final point, that's the ending point, the final point, right? So with all these points, now you can sketch the graph. Okay, first I will draw the y-axis. Okay, let's draw it nicely. Okay, nice. And then okay, so ignore this so here I will write y, or you can write fx also can, right? So look at your highest y value. Your highest y value is 32, but your smallest one is -40. So I have to make sure here can plot until 32. So what I will do is I will just round it off. Not round off lah, but I'll make it 40. I'll make it 40 because if I make it 30, then I cannot plot my 32. So let's make it, the highest point here is 40, and then this will be 30, 20, 10, 0. Okay, but I have to go down until -40 also. So 0, -10, -20, -30, -40, right? And then for my x-axis, let's look at the x-axis value here. So x-axis, the highest value here is 7. The smallest one is -3. So I think the right side have to be longer lah. Yeah, have to be longer. Okay, but then here only use until -3. So maybe like this. Is this good enough? Yeah, I think okay, lebih kurang lah. So this one is x. Oh, by the way, this one don't have to draw in graph paper. Sketch Sketch means you just do it in whatever space they provide for you. Just do it in the answer space. Okay, so now let's label everything. This one have to go until 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one 7. And then this one is -1, -2, -3, and then enough already. When I draw my axis, I will always look at the points, right? Because I want to make sure all the points can fit inside this plane, right? Okay, I think it's a bit not balanced down here. So let me fix it. Okay, let me fix this. So let's label one more time. So the distance here is like this. So -10, -20, -30, -40. Okay, like this is much more better. Okay, now we can plot the points. The first point is 132. So 1 is here. 32. Okay, this one is 30 ma. So 32 is lebih kurang here lah. So 132. So here. So this is the point, right? So let's label also 132. And this is the maximum point, by the way. Okay, the next point is the x-intercept, -30 and 50. -30 is just here. 50 is here. Okay, 50. Okay. So done. Next one is 030. That's the y-intercept. So 030, this one y-intercept. The next one is -30, but why I cut it? You know now why? Because -30, you already plotted just now, right? That's why. Okay, the last one is 7, -40. Okay, this one is a bit down. 7, -40, so it will be here. Okay, here lah. Okay, and I think you can label it also 7, -40. You don't have to label this point every point. Okay, you only label it if it's like, how to say, the starting point or the ending point or the turning point. Then only I'll label it. Okay, now I think you just join all these points now. Okay, so let's draw it. Okay, so remember this is the maximum point. Okay. Okay, let me draw nicely. Okay. Okay. Let me draw it. Let me give me some time. Okay, why it looks more ugly one? The first one looks more nice. Now I again now it looks more ugly. Okay, wait for me. Okay. Okay. Passes through this point. Okay, let's do again. Yeah, I think good enough, right? Okay, let's erase nicely. Okay, last part. Yeah, I think why so ugly one. Okay, let me try one more time. Uh, okay, let me try one more time. Let's start from here. Okay, go up. Hey, go up, and then this is where it start to turn. Okay, and then this one it will go down. Right, this one erase. Okay, okay lah, good enough lah. I think it looks okay. Just make sure it looks natural a bit. Okay, so this one is the answer. So fx equals to what? What is the what's the equation? -2x squared plus 4x plus 30. -2x squared plus 4x plus 30. And then just label everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then this one is -1, -2, 10, 20, -10, -20, -30. Yeah, I think like this is good enough, right? So we have the starting point, the ending point, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, and the turning point. So all the important point is I already find it. Okay, so that's how you sketch. Okay, so what they want, sketch the graph. So done already. That's the answer. Okay. Okay, let's continue with number 15. I think this is the last question. So let's go. Number 15. Diagram 15 shows a straight line y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, this is the straight line. Straight away, I know this is 3 already. Okay, because if they give you equation means you can find the gradient, which is negative 2, and the 3 will, that's the c, the y-intercept. So you can see that the y-intercept of this line is b. That's why I can straight away know the b is 3. And also, the reason why I can straight away take out the 3 like that is because this equation is already in linear form. It's already y equals mx plus c. Okay, and then they say intersects the line x equals beta, which is this line, at A. And at A and intersects y-axis at B. Okay, means B is the y-intercept lah. That's why B is the 3. Okay, 0, 3. Okay. Okay, now they say given that coordinate of C is B beta 0, where is it? Okay, C beta 0, they already labeled for me. And by the way, this one we call it x-intercept, because if point C is on the x-axis, then it's x-intercept. All right, and the y coordinate will be 0. And then they say ABC is 90. Wow, this one important. ABC 90. It means here I have to put 90. Hey, the moment you see 90 degree, confirm you will have to think about this formula. M1 times M2 equals -1. Right? I mentioned this just now also. Okay, so M1 times M2 equals -1. So let's do it. Find A. How to find value of beta? Beta means find here, right? So how to find? Let's see. Beta is here. So this is beta. So point A, but I don't know this point. Okay, can I use gradient to find? Can I use the M1, M2, -1 formula? Yes, right. But which gradient? BC and AB gradient times together is -1. But what is point B? 0, 3. What is point C? Beta 0. What is point A? Okay, point A, the x coordinate will be beta, right? Because when you baca bawah is beta. But what will be the y coordinate? You don't know, right? But you can see point A got passes through this line. This line got passes through A. So you can actually ganti the beta inside this equation because got passes through. So the y coordinate will be -2 beta plus 3. So that will be the y coordinate, -2 beta plus 3. And now you can take the gradient of AB times with gradient of BC equals -1. What is AB gradient? Use the gradient formula, y minus y divide x minus x. So you will take -2 beta plus 3 minus 3. And then divide x minus x, beta minus 0. This is the gradient formula. And then times with the BC gradient. What is the BC gradient? Same thing lah, y minus y or x minus x. So 0 minus 3 divide x minus x, which is beta minus 0. And then you will get -2 beta over beta, because 3 minus 3 is 0, and then beta minus 0 is beta, and then 0 minus 3 is -3, beta minus 0 is beta, equals to -1. Beta and beta can cut, so you left with -2 times -3 over beta. It means the -2 you will darab dengan atas, so you will get 6 over beta equals -1. So this one is -1. So what will be your beta? It will be -6, right? Because you move this one over, it becomes times, and then the negative you move it back, so it becomes -6. So now the A answer is -6. So if the beta is -6, so now you can update your diagram already. It means your point C is -6, 0, and then this one is 0, 3, and you also know your point A already. What is your point A? The x coordinate is -6, and then the y coordinate is -2 times -6 plus 3, which is 15, right? Because -2 times -6 is 12, 12 plus 3, 15. Okay, now we can do B. So what do you want? Find the coordinate of A. Okay lah, it's there already. What's the coordinate of A? -6, 15 lah, right? Okay, but let's show them lah how we get it. So how we know the coordinate A is -6, 15? Because the x coordinate is -6. So y is equals to -2 bracket plus 3. This one is -6. I get 15. That is why the point A is -6, 15. Okay. All right. Now for question C, let's read the question. What they want? Area of triangle ABC. Yeah, this one easy lah. This one I already have all the coordinate. So how to find area? 1/2 modulus, and you can start with any point you want. ABC, any point. All right. Because it's triangle, that's why you can just write in any order you want. Okay, let's start from 0, 3, and then I will go -6, 0, and then I will go -6, 15. And don't forget to repeat the first one before you close the modulus. Okay, But of course, you can also do it in different order. You want to start with any point you want also can. Okay, first thing first is you take 0 times 0, which is 0. 0 tak payah tulis. And then plus negative 6 times 15. Let's press 15 times 6. So negative 90. So the first one is plus negative 90, which is negative 90. And then plus negative 6 times 3, negative 18. So just open bracket. And then minus. Why suddenly minus? Because you change direction. 3 times negative 6, negative 18. So bracket negative 18. And then minus 0 times negative 6, 0 tak payah tulis. 15 times 0, 0 tak payah tulis. So it means that's all, right? So just close the modulus. Now you will press calculator and see what you get here. Negative 90 minus 18 plus 50. Okay, I get, wait, negative 90 minus 18 plus 50. Okay, my calculator give me negative 90. Right? So I'll just write negative 90 here. And what happens when you modulus negative 90? You get 90, and then 90 divided by 2 is 45. So the area of this triangle is 45 units squared. Right? This is the formula we use when we find area in the Cartesian plane. Okay? Because it's coordinate geometry, ma. Okay? Actually, you can use another formula, because this triangle got 90 degree, right? So you can also use 1 over 2 times base times height. But it's a bit susah because you have to find the distance of BC and AC. Then only you can take 1 or 2 times base times height. Alright. But this formula is not very good because you can only use it when the triangle got 90 degree. That's why this formula is better. This formula we use it when you can even use it if the triangle is not right angle. Right? Okay, last question. Soalan D. Let's read the question. Okay, let's make this smaller so I can, so it's more clear. Okay, let's read the question. The equation of locus S if the point S, okay, definitely is talking about locus lah. So when we do locus, I always say what? First step is to let the moving point become XY. So if they say locus S, if the point S move, means S is the point that's moving. All right. So point S later, I'll let it become XY, such that distance from point B is always the same as distance from B and C. So this is point B. Okay, this one is point B, 0, 3. So S have to move from B and it's always the same. Distance from B is always the same. Means the S will move like a circle around B. Alright. When we do locus, we just look at dia kata from siapa. If they say from one point, mesti satu circle one. If from one point. If from 2 point, then it will be perpendicular bisector. Alright. If from 1 point, it's a circle. If from 2 point, it will be a perpendicular bisector. But if they say from 1 point, then it's definitely a circle. And now we have to find the equation of circle, right? But in order to find this, we need the radius. It means we need the distance. We need the distance from S to the center. And they never give me. So what I have to do now is actually find the distance first. Because without the distance here, you cannot find the locus. So how can we find the distance here? Well, they already say it's same as distance from B and C. So the distance here to here will be the same with distance from B to C. So now I will just find the distance from B to C, right? So I'll just write distance of BC. And the formula for distance is what? Do you remember? Square root bracket square plus bracket square. What do you have to write here? X minus X. Here will be Y minus Y. And I'm finding for B and C. So the point B now is what? 0, 3. My point C now is what? Negative 6, 0. So now you can actually find the distance for BC. So the formula here is X minus X, Y minus Y. So X minus X will be negative 6 minus 0. And then here will be Y minus Y, so 0 minus 3. So you get square root. Negative 6 square is positive 36. 0 minus 3 is negative 3 square is 9. 36 minus 9 is square root 45. Can we simplify this? The answer is yes, because 45 is 9 times 5, which is 3 square root 5, because square root 9 is 3. Right? But actually, if you don't simplify, also can. If you stop here, also can, because this is not the final answer. Okay, this is not the final answer. This is just the radius of the circle, the distance. So now you can find the locus. So now what you do is you will let I'll do it here. Let the moving point. So who's the moving point? S. So let become XY. And then they say what? The S have to move such that distance from B is always the same. So S to B distance is always the same, which is always 3 square root 5. That is why you have to find this value first before doing the locus, right? So now you need the point S coordinate, which is XY, and you also need the point B coordinate, which is 0, 3. Just now, yeah, 0, 3. And now you can find the locus. All right, just open a square root here because its distance formula equals to 3 square root 5. So what is the distance formula? Square root bracket square plus bracket square. And the bracket here, you have to put x minus x, y minus y. So x minus x, x minus 0, y minus y, y minus 3. And the distance will always be 3 square root 5. Okay, how can we hilangkan the square root? Square both sides. So when we square both sides, remember the 3 also have to square. Huh? So square root and square hilang. And then 3 also have to square, become 9. And then square root 5 square is just 5. Because when you square root square, the square root square will cancel. Right? Will cut. Just remember the 3 also have to square. Huh? So you end up with 45 here. Okay, ignore this. And then don't forget here is what? X minus 0, which is x. So x squared is just x squared. And then plus, this one you can expand. Y minus 3 squared, depan square, y squared, depan darab, belakang darab 2. Y times negative 3 times 2, negative 6y. Negative 3 squared is plus 9. Right? And then you will get x squared plus y squared minus 6y plus 9 equals 45. But usually we want our equation to be general form, means equals 0. So what you do is x squared plus y squared minus 6y, the 45 you move here become minus. What is 9 minus 45? Press calculator, negative 36. Right? So this will be the equation of the circle. This is the answer, right? And this is the equation of the circle. So that's all. All right, let's go to the diagram. This x squared plus y squared minus 6y, this is the equation of the circle I draw just now. Okay, which means the equation of the locus lah. So that is the answer. Okay. Okay, sudah siap. See you next video.